Oh my god, I'm back, chat. I'm back. I'm back. Oh my god, my streamer. I'm so hyped for Diesel Goes Off about Mormonism hour. Dude, the Mormon pack watch is crazy. It's crazy, dude. In this house, we don't eat crumble cookie, dude. We don't eat crumble cookie. So like, there's a thing that I'm kind of like, I'm like writing a thing for myself. I don't know if it'll ever become a thing or is it's just a thing I'm writing for myself. But my weird offhanded comment last night on stream about like the Mormon super soldiers deploying to Appalachia has me thinking about the concept of like a BBEG in like some kind of TTRPG. Wow, that was probably a lot of acronyms for a lot of people. But it makes me think of like, what if I had like a D&D game where there was like a like literally that Mormon guy, like the the Mormon I'm concocting in my head. I'm thinking about this hypothetical super Mormon army. Dude, when you think about it, the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout would totally be Mormons, right? Like they'd be fucking Mormons. They wouldn't have any of that weird fuck ass religion they have. Okay? It would be about Joseph Smith. I find the lack of Mormons in the Fallout universe absolutely profoundly hilarious. I know that there are Mormons in I think Fallout 2, but none of you play the top-down games, so I could just be lying and you'd never know. I saw a crumble pop up on the west side in Manhattan, and there was a line around the fucking block. Absolutely not. Have you seen the calories for a crumble cookie? Brother, I'm telling you, a crumble cookie is like diabetic Olympics. Okay? There are Mormons in a new Vegas DLC, if I recall correctly. Oh, yeah. New Vegas has too. Well, New Vegas, all the folks at Obsidian did their homework. So I think me referencing the older games, I'm probably hitting the nail on the head there. But New Vegas actually cares about its source material, unlike Bethesda. Hot take. Sorry, hate to say it. I'd rather have less Mon than more Mon. Dude, George Lucas naming a guy? Oh, what if his name was Lesmon and he had a brother and his name was Mormon? And they were on a Jedi council and one of them had really cool hair. It's like when he's like, yeah, Darth Maul has a brother. His brother's named Sidious Vengeance.
Kicken_the
it works today.
Swede became a member. At Kicken_the Swede celebrates 25 months of membership. Pookie, you spoil us with streams. Sad face emoji. I love it. Smiley face emoji.
I'm happy to be here. The folks at Obsidian wiped them out though. Look, man, if you wipe out the Mormons, that's not a bad thing, you know. What if hold on, I'm trying to read Crumble Cookie. I'm trying to read Crumble Cookie right now. I want to see how how calorie dense their cookies are. Okay. Wow, that's crazy, dude. This is what they have right now. Hold on, let me pull it up. I was curious, dude. I was curious. All right. No, his brother was named Savage Oppress. Okay. Excuse me for not remembering this fucking Glupshitto's name, alright? Savage Oppress. It's gonna be crazy when you find out about his sister. Bomb genocide. We got two sets. One is Darth Truthius, who always was honest, but his brother, well, let's just say you shouldn't trust Darth Phibius. Dude. So, like, let's say I'm going to go spend some money out at Lubbock, Texas. Okay, this is the Lubbock, Texas location. And here I am looking at the desserts for Crumble Cookie. All right. Let's say I'm picking up a cookie, like I'm picking up cookies to share with the missus. She's like, oh, I really want a treat, honey. And then I go to Crumble Cookie and I stand for 10 hours in a line.
Good to see you cheesing, boss. Sun emoji. Also your skin is glowing. Damn. Drop the routine
It's
for
the
us
energy
already.
drink,
Sparkles
you know.
emoji. Eyes emoji.
I added niaminoside to my routine because I'm trying to reduce these like blemishes that have been here on the side of my face, which has been helping quite a bit, you know. I was watching the other stream, and here you are, the Mormon Slayer. Is it? uh, is it red 40? No, this is like uncolored, but it is called Cereal Killer, and it tastes like cereal milk, which is weird, right? That's weird. But dude, I go to buy a crumble cookie for me and the missus, right? I get one fruity cereal milk tres leches cake. Boom. 980 calories, dude. That's like nearly approaching half of my daily caloric intake. All right. Dude, the blueberry pancake cookie, 730 calories. French toast cookie, fucking insane. You have a missus now? No, I wish. This is my hypothetical imaginary wife that I'm buying cookies for. All right. I've always wanted to consume a cookie that was just calorically dense as an entire cheesecake. Dude, how is Lego going to affect the legacy of Crumble Cookie? I'm just saying it's only a matter of time before the great Crumble Cookie caper. You know, we got the bricks and minifigs scandal, but the Crumble Cookie caper is going to be even crazier, dude. It's going to be even crazier. It's going to be a holiday special, I'm telling you now. There's a milkshake shop in Brazil that's 2K calories per milkshake. Dude, milkshakes are crazy work because they are like, what if we gave you a whole cake and put it in a cup? And then also, you're going to eat the rest of the day, right? You want a fries with that 2,000 calorie milkshake? But, you know, it all comes out in the wash at the end because the second you have a 2,000 calorie milkshake, you're going to be shitting that stuff like crazy, dude. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. I don't know why I said that. In the ear? What? But these cookies are crazy work, okay? Like, if you're getting a traditional crumble cookie to share, you'd either buy 2 singles, okay? Or you'd buy a 4-pack, which is technically cheaper, all right? Wait, are you not aware of the fake crumble cookie pop-up scandals? I think it was last year. It was on Do We Know? Wait, seriously? There are crumble cookie imposters amongst us? You're telling me there's fake crumblers out there, dude? Who out there drinking milkshakes after the age of 12? Okay, Pie, I know that's rage bait. I know that's rage bait. But can a brother have a little sweet treat, dude? Can a brother have a little sweet treat? That's the question. I think a brother is entitled to a little sweet treat after a hard day's work. You know? You know, it's a hot day. It's the summer. I want a little bit of a something something, you know? Pie's gonna be fighting the eternal uphill battle because of the fucking canned carrots. Oh my god. Have you seen the McDonald's Oreo milkshake that you can't have if you have a shellfish allergy? That sounds disgusting. I don't know why. Hi, Diesel. I was just watching last stream, and then I got the notification. Can us flunkies get a TLDW on the Mormon Lego scandal? Yeah, so, as we do get into this, thank you, Louie, for giving me the perfect segue there. All right. So, for those of you that haven't been aware, there is a ridiculously complicated scandal happening between the YouTuber Reckless Ben and a company called Bricks and Minifigs, okay? And Bricks and Minifigs essentially worked out a consignment deal with an individual who owned the largest Star Wars Lego collection in the world, apparently. Now, here's where things get finicky. The owner of that store lost the store, and then corporate took over the store. When corporate took over the store, they did not hold up their end of the consignment deal. They kept the Legos, and the entire back and forth between Reckless Ben and Bricks and Minifigs has been trying to get these Legos back. Around $200,000 worth. $200,000 worth of Legos. Now this is a multi-$100 million company, okay? Whoa, the 2,600 calorie large cookie, chocolate and Heath bar milkshake from Baskin and Robbins. Wow. What was happening when I was reading that? There used to be a 2,600 calorie chocolate milkshake at Baskin Robbins. Like, you just gotta be buying that to, like, fucking fatten up a victim to throw them in a soup, right? Like, the only people buying that are witches that want to trap little Swedish children in a pot to turn into a stew. Like, there's no other purpose for that. There's only nefarious reasons to eat a beverage like that. Like, like there's something nefarious behind that kind of milkshake, dude. Uh, that's a man's death row appetizer, absolutely. Why Swedish? I don't know. That's where the I guess they were German, right? Hansel and Gretel. They were like little German kids, and they went to the gingerbread house, and it had like an evil witch in it. Dude, I gotta get caught up on my fables, brother. I'm falling behind. I need to be reading my bedtime stories. I've been really stuck on Cat in the Hat. Yeah, German. But yeah, so this whole scandal is happening with this Lego company. And it turns out the Lego company is has ties to the Mormon church. And as Reckless Ben is in Utah trying to get these Legos back, the American Fork Police Department, in my opinion, acts as a militant wing of the Mormon church to try and harass and scare Ben out of trying to get this money back from Bricks and Minifigs. Okay, that is the short version from my perspective. And so they have falsified things. They have, in my opinion, erroneously and illegally searched his car. They have committed warrantless search and seizure. They have arrested someone without explaining what they are being arrested for, and abused his rights. They are trying to arrest and charge Ben while also not telling him what crime he has committed. The American Fork Police Department is in bed with the Mormon Church. IMO. Okay. Are you excited for 11th edition? I'm trying to finish my Imperial Knights, but I can't find a Lancer for my life. Kinda yes and no. I'm not like super stoked about it because I feel like I just got a good handle on 10th. But a lot of the changes in 11th were necessary that I think will be really good for the game. So for that, I am. But I am kind of like annoyed that I gotta go relearn some stuff. You know what I mean? What if Lego Gate kickstarts ACAB again? I think that this is a total great ACAB situation, honestly. Okay, like for real. There's no way that you could be on the side of the Lego Corporation, not the Lego Corporation. You know, like Bricks and Minifigs is so bad at being bad that they're just trying to muscle their way around by being Mormons, right? They're like bad at lying. They're bad at playing the game, but they have a lot of power because they're Mormon, so they can be bad at it, right? And so that's basically where everything's at, right? But yeah. Anyway, when we last left off, Ben fled to Mexico to avoid being jailed. Okay. So Ben fled to Mexico to avoid being jailed by the American Fork Police Department and the Mormon Church. Okay. That is literally what happened. And the American Fork Police Department had received quite a lot of bad publicity for their behavior. Rightfully so.
At Thesa Vilright's lawyer interviewed Ben and dropped part 1. It isn't looking good for him.
Ooh. But yeah, so also if you didn't watch last stream, we watched a video of the American Fork Police Department training after the George Floyd murder. Okay. And they said some very bad things as police officers in that video. And they basically want to just role play as being cowboys. You know, they want to like, you know, be the shoot man hero guy type character. You know what I mean? So that was then. So I would not be surprised if Ben was at least partially in danger. Oh yeah, there was this. So CoffeeZilla is aware of this. Okay. To everyone asking about the bricks and minifigs, I'm well aware. I've been reaching out behind the scenes to get everyone in the story. My video will hopefully be out in a day or two, right? So CoffeeZilla is getting involved in this. CoffeeZilla is also looking to find someone who can ID and tag all of the Legos into photos so he could like add up the cost of everything. And so CoffeeZilla is on the case.
Crazy how Bam is gonna try to pin RICO charges on Ben is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even... Like, there's no other way to say it than that this is, like, a clear sign of church influencing state, quite literally. Like, literally, this is church influencing state in the most egregious way. Also, very weird. This is really weird. It's really fucking strange to have a police department come onto YouTube to comment on a drama. Basically. That's a baseline in Utah. Yeah, dude. I have a really negative view of Utah now. This is like I have developed prejudices because of these streams. I really hope for the day that I can bother the absolute ever-living shit out of some young Mormon on a mission. You know, to just really I just really want to put him down. I want to be that guy. This docs vid info in this vid, FYI. In what regards? The following is a link to all body cam. Okay, first of all, this is crazy, dude. Does this count as a Google Docie? Does this count as a Google Docie? The police dropping a Dropbox of body cam footage? Hold on, I'll get you a timestamp. Sure, go ahead. It's literally like trying to put a blanket on a oil fire, considering there's nearly 400,000 views on this. Over 400,000 views. The cops show the home address of Brandon. What? What? Holy shit. Dear feds, please come and audit this department. Sincerely, literally everyone. Here's the thing. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We do not have the kind of administration to do something about that. Could you guys imagine Kash Patel coming to Utah to try and put the kibosh on some corrupt police officers? That's not... No universes does that happen. Oh, yeah. This video is also very funny because of how weird it is. So, there is some strange shit in here. Let's see. What's good, Diesel? Well, you know, I'm waiting to get a timestamp in this 30-minute video. I might as well just get going and figure it out as time comes.
My name is Cameron Paul, and I...
Okay, so I have some thoughts on this police officer media personality. So like, do you know when somebody do you know when somebody sounds like a Mormon? Because this is that guy. This guy.
Given how short Cash Patel is, he'd need another agent to pose as his dad in a BAM store.
I think it's about 6 minutes in. All right. But he's like literally whispering. He's talking like a Mormon youth group going over the gospel. You know what I mean?
I'm the Chief of Police for the American Fork Police Department. I'd like to address...
All right. Well, one for they literally show Josh Johnson's. Okay. Okay. This guy sounds like a tantric sex therapist, and you can't tell me otherwise. He sounds like a youth pastor. That's what he sounds like. I don't know what the overlap is between tantric sex therapist and youth pastor, but I guess there is.
Officer White Noise, this guy can put anyone to sleep.
Dude, the whispering is crazy. Oh, we got goal already? Poggies? Poggies? Let me throw this shit up for you. We get some, hold on. We need, like, is there, if I type in gay Minecraft, what comes up? Gay Minecraft. Happy Pride Month, chat. Happy Pride Month. It's crazy shorts, by the way. What? Roblox car crashes. What is something LGBTQ friendly for STEM content? Do you guys, here you go. You guys like that stuff? Gay Minecraft parkour.
How much to play mixtape?
How much to play mixtape? Unironically, do people want me to play mixtape? God, I'll make it the next goal or something. Okay, how about that? How about that? Let me make another one. Beckett did it for 500. You know what? I can undercut him in the marketplace. I can do it for 400, all right? I'm a reasonable fellow. Finish Dustborn. No, Dustborn is 1 billion years ago. Your Dustborn one was hilarious. Good God. There we go. All right, I got the timestamp.
Members of our American Fork and Cedar Hills community regarding some videos currently circulating on...
Why is he talking like this? Just talk at a normal level like a grown person.
...social media.
How much was the cookbook again? It was like an Amazon direct print.
It had been presented in a way that calls into questions...
Yeah, 400 to play mixtape then. You know, I'm cheaper than Beckett because I'm less relevant than him.
...the actions of our department. These videos are affiliated with an influencer on YouTube and other social media platforms and stem from a dispute involving Legos that originates in the state of Oregon. In this message, we will be presenting...
Some people are saying this feels like an AI space. He feels kind of like... He kind of like feels like a Star Trek character. This feels like a Star Trek character, the way he talks. He's got some, like, Vulcan in his bones or something.
4 different cases and police responses from our police department, and will provide a detailed overview as to what happened.
I think if I had such... I know my hairline's not perfect. I know it's kind of receding a little bit. We working on that. But...
He is no Grady Judd.
He 100% needs to just shave that shit off, right? Like, I feel once you pass, like, the halfway mark back here, it's gotta go, right? Like, it's gotta go. I don't know. I got a video of 1 hour rainbow slimes if you want. So true. I will take it. I will take it. It's better than the soap, I think. It'll be better than the soap.
And what our actions were.
Yeah, you just embrace the bald at that point.
On March 8th, 2026, an American Fork resident, Joshua Johnson, requested phone contact from the American Fork Police Department regarding a suspicious individual who had earlier arrived at his home. Officer Tonga with the American Fork Police.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is an amazing one. Hold on, we got some really... This actually looks super, super cozy. Hold on. What the fuck is this? Holy shit. That's really funny. I don't know why.
Police Department contacted Mr. Johnson by phone. Mr. Johnson reported that earlier that same day,
Okay, so they show a package, and that package has the address that we didn't see just there. So there we go.
While Officer Tonga was still on the phone with Mr. Johnson, Johnson reported that two females had exited a vehicle and were walking toward his property. He also reported that a male driver remained inside the vehicle.
I'm kind of curious. I want to go back and see that. Hold on. Jesus, boss. I clicked past it.
Baseball cap with a UPS logo taped onto it. Mr. Johnson also reported that a suspicious package had been left at the residence. He explained that what appeared suspicious was that the shipping label did not look legitimate.
Huh. So the box is very odd, of course. That's true. But like,
Did not look legitimate. The package was later determined to contain rubber ducks.
You clicked within the 15-second window I gave. Yeah, but the video preview I thought was different. Random aside, Lilu Dallas Multipass apologized in a new video. She made another video already? That fast? She was so confident, though. She made this whole post and everything. How she'd be back with a vengeance. Interesting. Interesting how she immediately seems to have caved. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It seems too good to be true, Q.
Mr. Johnson reported to Officer Tonga that he believed the male was an individual named Benjamin Snyder, who, according to Johnson, operates a YouTube channel. Mr. Johnson further explained that civil proceedings were occurring in Oregon and stated that he believed...
New goal? Sure, I'll make a new one. I'll make a new one. Let's see. There we go. And now I've gotten something else again. Shit. No fucking way. No fucking way. Oh my god. I'll have to save that for another stream. I'll have to save that. It's 6 minutes long. Are you fucking kidding me? Wait, what? What? No, we gotta. I'm sorry. We gotta go on a little detour. Sorry, Lilu Dallas Multipass. A 6-minute apology? Lady, you tried to ruin her fucking career. You have, like, actual specific stuff you need to apologize for.
To respond to, and more importantly, apologize to a creator known as It's Black Friday, aka Freya, for a deep dive video I made on her on May 15th of this year. This video honestly should have never been made. I do not have anything
No shit, it shouldn't have been made.
personally against Freya.
Really? Because it sounds like you did. What are you talking about? Not at no point. Hold on. At no point after you got this Google Doc from a random stranger over your email, did you not think to corroborate or check that evidence at all? And now you're like, oh, I have nothing personally against her. Well, clearly you don't, because you were fishing for a fucking story. And the second something, even though it was bad, landed in your lap, you ran with it. Yeah, you might not have anything against her, but you were willing to go to war against her. You talked very openly about going to war against her. You were very specific about how much you would fucking ruin her life if she responded and tried to do anything back to you. You made a post after taking out your most angry, vitriolic rant 5 minutes into your video, and then made another post beneath it saying why you took it out, and also that you're ready to go to fight against this. You were literally specifically inviting an argument, and now you're like, oh, I have nothing against her. So every time that you get on camera and you get into like these rants like this where you try to be righteous, the entire point of that is just for a fucking show. So what? So every time you do that, it's more about you getting attention rather than actually having an opinion on it. Because when I actually hate someone, I mean it. Because Lilu Dallas Multipass, I think you're a deplorable person. I think that you have not a genuine bone in your body. You are such a fucking skinwalker. Okay, you deliberately tried to ruin this woman's career. All right, and your entire purpose behind that is that, oh, all of a sudden, oh yeah, I have nothing personally against her. Yeah, no shit, because you don't fucking care, because you have no fucking scruples. Okay, all of your scruples are based on what you can performatively do in public for other people. God forbid the camera not be on you for 5 seconds, because then all of a sudden you're gonna turn it off and be just as fucking awful and rude as the people you cover, you fucking idiot.
I do not hate Freya. In fact, I watched Freya's content quite a bit as a kid. I was emailed this document by a former It's Black Friday fan a few months ago during all of this stuff going on with social repose, and I didn't know if I would ever actually make the video as it didn't fit at all into my particular niche of covering predators and abusers within the alternative and emo subcultures. But since I had been covering incredibly dark stories for the past couple of months and noticed many of my viewers asking me to cover something less heavy, I thought maybe it would be a good opportunity to cover someone who wasn't.
So all of this came down to I needed to make something else so my audience stopped complaining. And at no point did you ever think to corroborate or check any of this evidence. This is exactly the same kind of poor decorum that I complained towards you against. And then you decided to say, well, oh, it's because I'm a woman. Well, goddamn, bitch, if the shoe fucking fits. Because clearly you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You got that Red 40 energy drink again?
No, I wish. I mean, I am drinking quite a bit of caffeine, but in the same breath, you know.
A predator or an abuser, but still someone within the online.
Hold on, here's another thing. If your entire content niche is covering predators and abusers, what happens when you cover somebody else on your channel who isn't a predator or abuser, but you don't clearly make that statement? If my entire content shtick is doing that specific thing, like, wouldn't people immediately assume that that person is that thing because of my content niche? It almost seems like you have to go out of your way and go above and beyond to reaffirm and tell your audience that that isn't the case with this particular person, especially because you've already primed your audience to specifically expect that of people, which is something you did to me. Like that's ridiculous.
Alternative niche who, to my knowledge at the time, had some controversy surrounding.
To my knowledge at the time. Okay, so you entirely based your entire video off of this Google Doc and then decided to not look up anything else? At no point did you decide to try and reach out to her about these deliberately very specific and personal things that clearly weren't litigated publicly on the internet? There are so many things in that video and that Google Doc that required you to have reached out to somebody personally involved for you to even try and get that information. Does it not make sense to you to try and personally get that information? It's almost like you're supposed to talk to people if that's what you're doing. If you're trying to cover fucking news, you stupid idiot.
Another woman is what's buried here.
Imagine Chris Hansen just doing a regular interview. Well, same vibe. Her audience is pre-programmed to believe her videos are about Preds, so they're primed to assume she knows about it. Exactly.
them. This person did provide different screenshots of evidence to support these claims, but admittedly, it was not a whole lot to go off of. And they were giving me—
Okay, admittedly, oh, hold on. This isn't an apology. You're trying to push the blame off onto this random person, this jilted ex-fan who emailed this to you. Unfortunately, the buck stops with you, Riley, not with this other person. So let's stop talking about what this other person gave to you, and let's start talking about what you did. Okay, let's talk about what you fucking did.
additional context to the pieces of evidence as well as filling in some of the blanks. I naively believed what was being told to me regarding these—
I naively believed what was being told to me. So you didn't do your job. The one thing that people come to you to listen to your content for, you didn't do that thing. You didn't meet the primary requirement of your content niche at all.
And also naively believed the different things that I was reading in different—
You're not naive, you're a grown woman, okay? You made that mistake willingly. You felt that you needed to make some other type of content, and so you did it because you were making a content decision, not because you were thinking about what your role is at all. 0% of it, okay? None of it is naive. You are not an unwitting participant. You are not a buffoon who was duped by a stranger, okay? The buck stops with you. Okay, the same way when I make a mistake, I go, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, that was wrong, my bad. Okay, I've done that. And it's not that hard. Okay, like Jesus.
Online forums and threads regarding this person. I should have recognized—
Yeah, Riley only made the 6-minute video for views. If Freya didn't disprove the allegations and mog her, Riley would have not said a damn thing. Exactly.
that there was not enough to go off of here, but I didn't. And as a result of me making this video, this forced Freya to not only have to come online and refute these claims, but even open up about some deeply personal stuff, specifically the trauma regarding her ex-husband's abuse, as well as her mother. I am deeply ashamed of myself and my actions. I would never want to force a fellow survivor to have to come online and reveal their trauma as a—
I don't understand how you don't realize that like the position and content you make, of course, is going to do that, right? So if you're a survivor and you're covering these abusive pieces of shit on your channel, it's going to put you in conflict with people who are victims of those people, because sometimes those victims might not want that story told. So Freya might be the first for you that you've noticed, but she most certainly won't be the last. Every time you make a video on somebody who's some kind of freaky, like shitty, abusive person, you have to gauge whether or not it is okay for you to cover that and you think it's important enough, because no matter how good your coverage is, somebody who is an innocent victim is going to be hurt. It doesn't matter. So you need to weigh whether or not you think the public responsibility and the public needing to know is a good enough reason for that hurt to exist. That is always going to be the case. You can't cover content like this without acknowledging and realizing that that is something that exists.
means of defending themselves. Freya, I am incredibly, sincerely sorry.
I think the only reason you apologize is because you got absolutely obliterated in Freya's response.
I'm sorry for threatening to respond to
You also spent like the first 2 minutes of this 6-minute video talking about how you naively believe this and how this was dictated by a content decision and how you were looking for something lighter. And
you in multiple videos in the beginning of my video, and assuming you would try to get the video taken down via DMCA or threats of legal action. It was completely unhinged and completely outrageous.
hold on, this is not the first time that Riley's done the I was completely, like, what I did was completely unhinged and completely outrageous. This has happened before. Okay, this has happened before. Riley talked about how she went to like a mental health institution, and then last time this happened during the social repost stuff, that's when we learned that she didn't actually have BPD this entire time. So how many times are we gonna allow Riley to just say, what I did was really unhinged, I'm better now? How many times is she allowed to get away with that? I'm sorry, but like, if I said something like that, there would be no quarter for me the first time. So why is she allowed to just do it more than once?
of me. After everything with Social Repose, Onision, Ronnie Radke, and
You view this as if these people are going to take you to court. Riley, you don't fucking matter. Stop trying to view yourself as a victim to these people that are honestly just irrelevant hacks. Okay? Goddamn, the only one who has any iota of clout at all that matters in the cultural zeitgeist of alternative media is Ronnie Radke. And everybody already knows he's a piece of shit. And then anybody who doesn't like him already doesn't like him. So you're not going to make a difference or move the needle at all by getting into a fucking internet beef with him because Ronnie Radke spends all of his free time doing that anyway. But Social Repose is like an irrelevant fucking chud. So is Onision. Nobody gives a fuck about those people anymore. But you're sitting here treating this like you're the first one to ever go to fucking combat with these people. Are you fucking kidding me? You just got here.
even a predator local to me who also did this. I made the egotistical and paranoid assumption that you would attempt to
The
do this.
egotistical. Okay, wait. So it wasn't egotistical every other time you did this before, but now it's egotistical because it was to somebody who didn't deserve it. I'm sorry, but the second you start going on Sephiroth-style rants about the people you're covering, you're a fucking crazy person. Mama Max was a crazy person for doing that too. And that didn't change fucking anything. Him doing that was a problem. Bar none. Why is it different? It's not. You're doing the same thing, just in a pastel room.
Same thing as a large alternative creator and figure. And when I read the things in the document alleging that your fan base and your mom had bullied smaller creators off of the platform, I was preparing for that scenario.
You were preparing for that scenario? No. Why were you preparing for that specific scenario? You've been doing that with all of these weird little freaks that you cover. I'm not even sure you thought that far ahead. I'm sorry. I just do not believe that. I really don't think you did. I really don't think you did at all.
I now recognize that I was wrong. I am sorry for bringing up your deceased friend. That was also incredibly uncalled for. I brought that up simply because it was something you shared on your platform and was part of the timeline of events in your YouTube presence. I normally do timeline-based deep dives, and I will usually
And they are bad and boring, and you are boring.
highlight not just the bad things someone may have done, but also the good things, their achievements, their creator feuds, and even sometimes those more deeply personal things that they choose to share with their audience. I should have recognized that that was completely...
So, like, the entire framing of this video is that It's Black Friday is a bad person, and you bring up It's Black Friday's dead friend, and then you expect nobody to make the correlation of maybe Freya and this dead friend have something in common, or maybe Freya is at fault for this. Like, okay, all right. I'm going to give you a little bit of fucking media literacy here, right? So if I make a video where the video is talking about how somebody is a massive piece of shit, and then I talk about a good time in their life, and I spend all this time doing that, right? It's almost going to give like a little bit of cognitive dissonance. And honestly, if I spend a bunch of time priming an audience in the first act of something to say, the other shoe's gonna drop, this person's a piece of shit, this person's a piece of shit, and then I bring up an information with no editorial at all where I'm like, their friend died, what correlation do you make? Because the obvious correlation that you would make is that, oh, they're a piece of shit and their friend died, they must have some kind of connection to that event, right? And it must be bad, because the audience watcher would immediately assume that based on what you primed them to think. Okay, it's not like it's even like this isn't even like very difficult to understand. This is just like how you make a essay, right? Like if I make an essay and my thesis statement is Riley Elania is a bad person, and then I go and I spend some time talking about how nuanced and wonderful she is, it's gonna frame it as if something is wrong or there's some other gotcha that's gonna show up later. Like, no shit. Why would I bring up something superfluous when I'm trying to do some takedown on you? Okay, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
completely unnecessary and just came off as very gross and manipulative of me.
It was!
Deeply sorry for bringing up your ex-husband and forcing you to open up about your abuse.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't matter. Again, like I said, it doesn't matter how appropriate you are with these things, there will come a time when you do this again to somebody. If you keep making this kind of content that you are making, you will do it again to somebody. That is it. And you have to be comfortable with the fact that that will happen. Okay? And you have to gauge whether or not you are okay with that happening. And if you think your coverage is good enough that it'll make a difference. Okay? So you got to gauge the needs of one versus the needs of many. And I know it's in context to fucking internet stuff, but that's what it's going to be.
Truly had no idea, and had I known, I would have never brought him up at all. And the same goes
Had I known, it's almost like you should have I don't know, reached out to people involved in it.
your mom. I should have applied more nuanced thinking there. And
I should have applied more nuanced thinking. I'm sorry. The video is 2 hours long. It obviously took at minimum double that amount of time to produce. Okay? Right? Like, at least she spent a good 8 hours crafting this video. Probably more. Right? At no point did you have any retrospective thoughts about the production of your video? Because I know I have. Fuck, dude. Fuck. From before up until when I make something. All the way to after. And months later. You know, I think about them, right? Like I use this as an example a lot because it's a very, like, similar thing, right? But when I talk about the Yandere stuff and my original time covering that so long ago, I had many moments where I'm like, I should just not do this. This is just not worth it. You know, this isn't worth it for my own mental health. This isn't, you know, I don't feel like I'm going to make a difference. I don't feel like this video really will matter to people. I don't feel like I'm doing anything that needs to be done. I don't feel good enough about any of this. I don't know if I could have done this differently or that differently or this differently. And then I put out the video, and then I have a YouTuber tell me, that's your magnum opus. And then my entire perception changes. Oh my God, that's my magnum opus, so it's all downhill from here? So there's nothing else for me? That's it? What do I do next? What is my life? Nothing happened. No justice was done. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit at all. And all of these things happened, right? And I obviously can't tell you the specifics on the timeline of here. I can only give you a broad strokes of the narrative experience I had, right? But I never just make a video or write words on a page and then not think about those words. I labor very intensely over the words that I put in a video to try and make it as informational, dense, entertaining, and short as possible, contrary to popular belief, right? So I just do not believe creators when they say, I wasn't thinking. You do think. You think through the entire time you make a video. If you're not thinking the entire time you made a video, you're lying, first of all. And then second of all, if that is how you produce videos and you're running autonomously and you're putting no care or thought into the words that you put out onto the internet, then maybe you have nothing to say at all, you know? To be for real, D, you were the first to expose Cameron, even if someone criticized it. Look, like I had said, I apologize because I got a very minute detail about Krexa wrong regarding the police report, which was a humongous thing that I looked over for 2 years and didn't notice, right? It was a mistake, absolutely, but in no regards does that make Cameron any less of a wretch to society who should be flogged in the town square. You know, it doesn't really change the thesis. It just means I got that one part wrong, which is a problem, absolutely, and it was. And Krexa didn't deserve that, but that doesn't unmake Krexa's other mistakes, where Krexa ran off with a bunch of money that was owed to other people as well. You know, that doesn't undo that. That doesn't suddenly make her a perfect victim, right? Obviously, perfect victims don't exist, but like that doesn't undo the bad thing that she did too, right? It doesn't unmake the other part. It just becomes less relevant. By the way, if she wasn't thinking, why did she try to pad criticism by taking out parts of her vid? Because she was thinking. Because she was. That's why she tried to take that part out after. Yeah, you edited and read the document. You just didn't want to research. Yeah. Outrageous. Outrageous. The whole I'm not thinking thing is fucking baloney. It's fucking baloney. When it comes to like a stream, right? It's kind of like a word vomit because I don't want dead air. So the performance is a little different, but I also don't get on stream and just don't think about anything I say, right? Like obviously, like occasionally I say a joke that goes too far, and then after stream I think about how I said something where I'm like, maybe that'll come back in the future. I hope not, right? So I think about what I say, absolutely, even though I'm being like funny and trying to be like a bit of like a ha clown, blah, 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 right? Obviously I do all that shit, but it's not like I get on here and I just don't think about a single word that comes out of my fucking mouth, right? Like obviously I was here today because I wanted to complain about Mormons some more, because I wanted to get caught up on the Reckless Ben stuff even more so that way I could be on the same page as everybody else covering this, so that way I could keep up with it as it comes along, right? And also so that way I could talk more and more and more about how much I kind of don't like Mormons and how my opinion on Mormons has been getting really strong, and maybe somebody should do something about it, right? So like, even though I don't have like a script, I have like ideas and thoughts that I want to say on stream, right? Like there's sometimes when I have like a bit about society or the world, or my thoughts on relationships, or my thoughts on dating, or my thoughts on this, or my thoughts on that, or my thoughts on The Boys, or my thoughts on a TV show. And I'm like, I want to share those things with my audience. I think those would be enlightening things to share with my audience. I think that would be a funny thing to share with my audience. So I even think about those things, right? Which, I mean, there you go. Maybe I'm ruining the mystique. Oh, not every random bit I come up with is something that just came right off the dome. Maybe I was thinking about that in a car ride back, you know? He's about to ask the Mormon question. What do you mean I can't come in 10 years later and take an easy win without digging deep into lore? Imagine if YouTube was that easy.
Consider the possibility that maybe you do not support your mother's words and actions. And I'm very sorry for forcing you to have to open up about that as well.
I don't understand how this woman even has a career. Her entire like place as an advocate for like BPD as a mental disorder, it was built on a lie. Okay? Clearly she doesn't think through the videos that she makes, and she basically made this woman go through her trauma. Why? At no point did she think about any of that. The thing is, you can't cover predators without making somebody relive their trauma, because you should exist on the internet understanding that anything you can say about somebody else will get back to them. Make no mistake, Riley, the second you say something about me, good or bad, it will get back to me and I will see it, okay? I will see it. The same way anything you say about any of the people you cover will always get back to them and everybody that they know and their victims and their friends and their family, okay? So it is going to affect people. And to think that it doesn't is a fucking idiotic lie.
I'm also sorry for making the assumption that you abandon your pets. That was something many people
You made the
initially
assumption
pointed out to me in the comments, pointing out that New Zealand has stricter quarantine laws when it comes to pets, and also did not consider that this also took place during COVID. That was very poor research on my part. The stuff with your children—
It's because you didn't, because you used this document to hedge all of your bets, basically.
I can also see was something I misunderstood based on the screenshots and the—
We shouldn't expect too much from someone who looks like a mix of an adult Funtime doll and a skinwalker. Are we sure it even can think?
You know, the thing is, and what's really annoying is how this, like I've you know, kind of like finger wagged at normie commentary many a times. This like weird mix of like, I want to be smug, morally righteous, but then also still be able to go after the lol cows is like the weirdest cognitive dissonance ever. Okay? Like you can't make I don't know, maybe it's my this is the black pill talking, right? But you can't be a commentary YouTuber that covers people in their darkest hour and not be a little bit of a villain. You're not going to not be one, right? Like, obviously, I try to be like empathetic to the places that people are, especially if it's like an FPS Diesel video or something like that, right? Because, you know, it's like somebody's always going to be mad. Somebody always has a problem with it. Commentary is one of those genres where it's like, yeah, some people are just going to fucking hate you. I've heard it from creators in real life that they're like, I do not like you because of the content you do. I don't care how ethical it is or how moral you think you are. You do it. And that's enough to bother me. And that's totally okay. So you can't be a commentary channel and think that you could be the morally righteous person, because there's always going to be someone else who has a problem with it. And I'm not saying to walk around and be a villain or like be like a real piece of shit, but you need to like seriously understand that like, yeah, your content is going to end up conflicting with others, and you're not going to be everyone's friend, and you're going to like make mistakes, and you're going to hurt people's feelings, and maybe sometimes, maybe one day you will hurt somebody's feelings so bad that they fucking blow their head schmoove off. Okay, that's a possibility. It doesn't matter. Like, now, obviously, if Scarlet Reaper blew his head schmoove off, I would sleep soundly at night. Okay, but that is a real possibility, right? Where I put some person's moment on blast, and so they go off the deep end, right? Or like, let's say Brony Fan did jump off that bridge, right? That's a possibility. All of that is always a possibility. You need to be aware that that shit could happen when you make this kind of content. We treat it like, oh, it's just the internet, fucking turn it off. Tyler the Creator tweet. Not anymore. You know that's true, okay? You walk around with Twitter in your pocket. You're constantly connected to all of this stuff. You try and say that I'm logging off, I'm touching grass, blah, 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 blah. You're spending every single moment of touching grass talking about the thing that is troubling you on the internet. Okay? And some people, who knows, maybe that'll be the day that they fucking take their life. That's a possibility. You got to judge whether or not the story you're covering is important enough that the public needs to know, that you're willing to take that risk, and you'd be willing to live with that consequence. Because that is a consequence that could happen. And clearly, you seem to not understand that. There's no easy slam dunks. Yeah?
Context provided to me. Looking at the screenshots of the posts provided that were made by you, as well as the responses from other people in the comments, it painted a much darker picture than what you stated actually took place. Still, that was my responsibility, and I am sorry for all of it. I know a lot of people believe that I lied and that I set out to maliciously lie about Freya. Some people have even alleged that I wrote the document myself. This is the email I recently received from the person who created and sent me the document explaining their side. I am going to redact their name as I do not want them to be doxxed nor harassed. They also themselves admit that they were wrong about some things.
Can you bump the video up? Yeah.
I made quite a few mistakes with this video, but I promise you all.
So like, what's the over under? At what point does it go from making a mistake to doing something duplicitous, right? So can you lie? Like, if anything, her depth of research was a lie, right? Because a lot of her capital, her social capital for Riley was based on her being like a researcher, right? Her being able to research these things to pull together the information. So, like, while she might not have, quote unquote, lied, her purporting that document and using it as factual information is a lie because there's information that is wrong and she didn't do her job of researching, you know? And until this video came out, there seemed to have been an expectation that you were doubling down because you were making posts about doubling down. Interesting.
I would never set out to intentionally lie about another creator by any means whatsoever.
Okay, well that's baloney. Not to put myself upon a cross in this moment, but you did that with me. But it's okay. You're just a girl, right?
I relied on sources.
It's crazy, dude. I saw Riley there on the grassy knoll that day that JFK was shot. I'm not saying she did it. I'm just saying it's very coincidental that she was there at the same exact time. I'm just saying. I'm just making questions. I'm just asking questions.
Screenshots, emails, and public discussions that I believed were credible at the time. However,
let me read the email. Yeah. Hi, Riley. I'd like to start off this email by formally saying that I am deeply sorry for the current situation coming from the Black Friday video. Upon seeing the level of backlash that you're getting, as well as parts of the document that were disproven on the response video, it became disturbingly clear that this was a case of good intentions leading you down a hellish path. So, this is seeming more and more like, Riley, you decided you didn't want to do the work. Somebody handed this to you, and you decided to produce a video because you need to put something out. So, this is not helping your case and you looking like a big hack, actually. The goal was simply to hold the large creator accountable for bad behavior, which I still believe Freya is guilty of, and notice she didn't address several key points and controversies, because of course. I also have to admit that the tone used in the document was too snarky and not clinical enough, which is mainly because I assume, listen man, you get one chance to make a Google Docie, alright? You don't get a second one. God. That writing came from a place of disillusionment over someone I used to admire after piecing together what ended up as the document based on publicly available information, at the dismay of others who felt similarly. Seeing that misinterpreted by the audience as bullying was admittedly surreal, but seeing people misinterpret your character based on it is simply too far. I'm sorry, this is not the first time that Riley has been in a hot seat like this. This is not like, this is actually in character for Riley. I am not surprised that it has come to this. I predicted Riley would do this. While I don't know anyone else that has come forward to you with new evidence or what your next move will be, I'd like to personally thank you for taking a stand that nobody else has successfully taken. You rock. Freya has at the very least proven a willingness to weaponize her fan base, which has also proven that their parasocial devotion to her drives them to try and bully people into silence. First of all, what are you fucking talking about? The people who are criticizing Riley are coming from inside the house. They are Riley's fans who are criticizing Riley for her behavior. Does Diesel's Law count if she goes over people that have pedo allegations? Yes. Metal Man with the 5 gifted. Very pog. Very pog and based. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm taking responsibility where I went wrong. Okay, look, man. This person clearly doesn't like Freya. I feel like they may have gotten what they wanted. Maybe they feel bad about it, but like... Yeah, Crazed X fan, like... I don't think she wrote it herself. I don't think she wrote it herself. No. Obviously, like, I pontificated upon that last stream, but in the same breath, it is much more likely that she was lazy. Does it not seem like that was more obviously the case? That she's just lazy? Yeah, they went to Riley because she's an attack dog, not because she's actually smart and has a real stance. Oh, I meant this email. I don't know.
Also themselves admit that they were wrong about some things. I made quite a few mistakes with this video, but I promise you all, I would never set out to intentionally lie about another creator by any
I think you would easily lie about another creator if it would get you a W. Okay, you to be clear, in our admittedly one-sided beef because you're a fucking loser who wouldn't stand 10 toes down and fucking get in a phone call with me, you deliberately and maliciously take things out of context to misinterpret my character as some fucking like sexist, ableist, misogynist, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. You also imply that I was like sweeping for social repose, who like went out of his way to try and like upend my personal relationships and drive a wedge between an ex-partner and myself. So like, I don't even know why you would claim that, because those are things that you could obviously reach out to me and I would gladly share information with you, which is like very easy to find out.
means whatsoever. I relied on sources, screenshots, emails, and public discussions that I believed were credible at the time. However,
you believe they were credible. They came from, these were, okay, first of all, if somebody is just gossiping in a snark Reddit and you are taking that as fact, that is an allegation, one, okay? And allegations aren't evidence. Allegations aren't evidence.
believing information
Yeah, honestly, her sue me, I dare mindset makes it seem like she's willing to lie and antagonize.
is not the same as verifying it. I am responsible for the things I chose to publish, and I failed to meet the standard of verification and research that I should have. There was evidence, but a lot of it was
There was evidence. Listen, if you miss the mark as badly as you did, you don't get to go, there's evidence, kinda, but I didn't do my research. You know? You don't get to do that, right? Because you bungled your credibility. You can't do both there. You can't go, I do the research. I'm there's stuff, guys, there's stuff. But you fuck up so badly, you need to make an apology. That's ridiculous. Why would anybody listen to a single thing you say? If it's as bad as It's Black Friday, does this not bring into question your prior coverage? Does this not bring into question your credibility on things you said in the past, or these predators you've covered in the past? It seems as almost like, can we really trust those things? I think it's very easy for someone to go, well, maybe we should re-look at what she's putting out there because it kind of seems like maybe she's not too honest.
weak evidence, and I should have been able to recognize that as an experienced creator.
You're not, well, first of all, you're not, and I've been saying that you're not an experienced creator. But if you want to say you're an experienced creator, this is career ending. This is career ending. Okay, if you're an experienced creator and you understand research and you understand and you think through it, then I have to think that you were absolutely thinking about these things the whole way through, and you were deciding, oh, well, I get an easy W with this, and they've already put together most of the timeline for me, so it's going to be really easy. So if you want to say you're experienced, I'm going to hold you to the standards of other people that are experienced. All right? Like, if somebody like Turkey Tom made a video like that, there would be like no, like, why the fuck would anybody defend that? Granted, I know in the commentary Chuddaverse, there might be a lot of back and forth and allegations of sweeping. But look at where everything ended on the end when Tom finally had to put down his response. You know what I mean?
Jumped to conclusions on certain things and failed to research properly on other things, such as the animal quarantine.
But like, genuinely, if you want to use the standard of I'm a experienced creator, did she ever link the doc in her OG vid? No, I don't think so. Well, didn't this kind of nonsense kill Mama Max's career? Yeah. Yeah, I could see Riley weathering this, if I'm being honest. To be for real, I think Mama Max could have weathered it too. I think the only reason that Mama Max was demolished so thoroughly was that everybody teamed up and was able to obliterate Mama Max, right? Like you had all the streamers, you had large creators, everybody was on the same page. But unless there's a lot of social pressure like that from other people with a lot of social capital, do you really think it's going to make like a difference? It doesn't really sound like Riley even learned her lesson, to be fair. She's using a lot of the excuses that I say are bad and she should stop using them. The whole I'm an experienced creator thing is like fucking malarkey, dude. Is absolute fucking baloney.
Laws. I have decided to remove the video. I believe that given the circumstances, it is the best course of action, as it absolutely does not meet the standards of research and verification.
Yeah, Riley's irrelevancy might be why she gets through this. Absolutely.
That I
Here's the thing. If I make such an absolutely obliteratingly bad mistake, I don't think I would ever take that video down. Taking the video down might be a bad idea, in my opinion, right? Because think about it. In terms of like the longevity of this situation, who's to say that this apology is going to stay up in perpetuity, right? 2 years from now, do you think the apologizing to It's Black Friday apology video is going to stay public on her YouTube channel? Do we really think that? Because I don't. Why would you? It's out of context drama from a year ago. Because it's missing the context of the original video. It's missing the context of your fucking mistake.
Expect from myself, and also damage another creator's reputation. I also chose to remove a community post I had made following Freya's Facebook post she had made before she made her response.
Yeah, because you were thinking that you could go to war, basically.
Video. I removed this post because
She will go into the shadows about this for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, yeah, I do think her career will be fine. She might take a little dip from this, but in the same way that look, here's the thing. Lewis McClung could have stuck around. Lewis McClung could have gone back to making normie commentary videos, and I guarantee you, within due time, Lewis McClung would have been fine. But you know what I learned from talking to Lewis McClung? Okay, you know what I learned getting to know that young man? I learned he actually has a heart, okay? Probably a heart that's a little too big. But he genuinely felt bad. He genuinely felt bad. He canceled himself. All right. In my opinion, if Lewis McClung kept posting content through his beef, he'd be fine. Because he would have gotten a new audience. He would have been able to bleed off the old one. He might have taken a hit, but he would have been able to come back from it. Right? I think Riley has the psychotic gumption to keep uploading through the pain. So I think she'll keep going, and she'll go back to her normal content. And I think she'll keep going. Okay. It's really true, you know? Like fucking getting to know Lewis is why I decided to not make the Lewis McClung video, because he just deserved to move on. He just deserved to move on. Like, obviously he was in the wrong, but he deserved to move on too. And he basically crucified himself for months. And you know what? He could have come back and he could have talked about Cataclysm, who is the real mastermind behind that. And I know because Lewis told me. It's so old now that I can just tell you that that's what he told me. And I asked him, I was like, why don't you want to say that? Because it would help you. And his thing was like, well, she's a victim and she's hurting, and I just want to separate myself from her and move on. And so that way, she can do her thing. He's like, I don't want to be around her anymore, but I don't want to like drag her through it. I want her to be able to move on too. But you know what? I don't think Cataclysm had that same kind of empathy in her heart, because we saw her fucking apology. We saw her fucking response. And to be clear, I understand that I'm singling out two women here. Make no mistakes about it. This is not something that is particularly to women commentary creators. I'm Alex was by far the worst example of this kind of person. Okay. And again, if some by magical chance Riley sees this entire derail of this stream, I knew I'm Alex. He was what Riley and Cataclysm was, but he was 10 times worse. Okay? He was that manipulator. He was that vindictive. He did all of that and then some. Okay? He did all of that and then brick. You know? So this is not a first time. I've seen other characters like Riley. Riley is not the first time that I have come across a commentary creator like this. We've seen it. You know, and we'll see it again. We have plenty of other people that don't give a shit and will gladly apologize if their career depends upon it and go right back to making content. I mean, Jesus Christ, just a robot. Need I say any more? I'll be honest, I barely even remember Lewis McClung. He used to show up in my feed. If the topic was trending, was interesting, I'd probably watch it. Yeah. He's jacked. Lewis is jacked. On God. On God. Yeah, that said, I think Lewis wants to be a good person, but needs better critical thinking skills. I don't want to be Unk, but I do feel like you kind of just develop that with age. You know? I don't know. Maybe that's an Unk thing to say.
I had jumped to
Some of them don't even apologize and just keep making content. Yeah.
conclusions, assuming that Freya was implying that she was going to take legal action. And once I realized that what she was actually alluding to was making a response video, I also thought it would be best to take the post down as well. This
You were like, oh fuck, I'm getting cooked in the marketplace of ideas. Let me take it down. Not the C&D thing. Let's be real. Does anybody actually, the amount of people who actually follow through on these like pointless litigations on YouTube are so thin. Okay? God. The only people who are actually like following through on that are fucking Ethan Klein. You know? Oh, Dick is raided? Okay, what's up? Shit, I'm busy bitching about a woman. I'm sure you guys like that.
This whole situation has been a very big learning lesson for me, both as a creator and as a person. The reason why it took me
I'm sorry, but this woman seems so terminally. Not everyone can be Ethan Klein. Yeah. It's gonna be a crazy day when we find out that H3A3 was actually bankrolled by the Rothschilds.
so long to respond to this was because I was taking a break. And I also wanted to take my
We are coming from mixtape gameplay, we understand.
time responding to this to ensure that I was doing it in the right way. Following me uploading this video, I will be continuing that break. And moving forward, I will be implementing much stronger standards for sourcing.
You know what's funny about this? I think that she is just gonna keep making the same exact shit she was doing before. You know, it's like the standards that she said she didn't meet in her video on It's Black Friday were so low. So the fact that she's like, oh, now I'll meet higher standards in the future. It's like, you weren't even passing the bare minimum, dude. You weren't even meeting the bare minimum in the slightest. What the fuck are you talking about? Like you got on camera and you implied that this woman was abusing her children, okay, was busy partying instead of being a good mom, and that she was treating her animals like shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Researching and compiling evidence before publishing serious allegations about another person and another creator.
Yeah, hold on. First of all, you should have been... Hold on. Does this moron not understand that every time that she was inviting litigation to her doorstep by begging these evil content creators to take her to court, she was putting that directly into the well for herself, right? Because if she didn't do her due diligence on Social Repose, right? And Social Repose did decide to sue her, he would win. And then we'd still be sitting here where she's just fucking wrong again. Like, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. It's like, yeah, man. You should be meeting those standards, because if you don't meet those standards, then someone takes you to court and they win. You know?
To Freya, I am incredibly sorry for the harm and the hurt that I caused you, and for putting you in a position where you felt as though you had to publicly defend yourself and discuss deeply personal experience.
Again, Riley is saying, I'm sorry to you for making you discuss deeply personal things, but then in the same breath, she put out a video discussing those deeply personal things, right? So, and she's like, oh, well, I just wasn't thinking. Well, it's like, yeah, those were deeply personal things that you talked about. No shit. That didn't cross your mind at all? If I sat here and I made a big stream talking about how Riley is a survivor of abuse and Riley has dealt with, her, cutting herself, and how Riley struggles with an ED and all of this other stuff, because she's been very open about like discussing her mental health on her YouTube page, which is like, you probably shouldn't do, by the way, but just so you know. Or her talking about how she has BPD and how she's struggled with being a neurodivergent woman and how people don't always get it, right? Like, if I just came on here and I started talking about those things and then using the little bit of information that she's provided to just kind of like extrapolate what kind of person I think Riley is, then yeah, I might goad Riley into saying more details about those personal things. Would it really be that hard to do? I don't think it would. I think I could do a pretty fucking good job of getting her to talk about her personal details. You know, it's like no shit, that's gonna fucking hurt someone. What? Are you stupid? Like, you didn't give a shit about her fucking personal well-being before, and at no point reading the document did you try to think about it from a different perspective at all? Like, you looked at it and went, finally, a video.
That should not have happened. Thank you all for listening. And again, to Freya, I am very sorry.
She doesn't have.
Can you hear me now?
She doesn't have BPD. No, she self-diagnosed as having BPD and was wrong.
I am coming on here.
Okay. See, and then this is the problem: is that her audience is fucking stupid. And her audience is fucking stupid, okay? All right? Because they're like, there's a lot of problems with this apology, and of course I'm being like, I obviously don't like Riley, right? Like, that's no fucking shit. I don't like Riley, right? But if she's gonna hold herself to the standard of a veteran commentary creator, then I will hold her to the standards of a veteran commentary creator, all right? I'll do it, right? She put off a lot of the guilt onto this document writer. She put off a lot of this into naivete,
Became a member. At Barrel_73 celebrates 20 months of membership.
Damn, unk status. Like, glad you apologized. Unfortunately, the damage is done and the hurt you caused can't be erased with an apology. People make mistakes. The best we can do is not judge. No, you should judge. There's a lot to judge about an apology like this, right? I like, if a commentary creator doesn't source anything that they do and like just decides to just put out some fucking random gossip as a hit piece.
Bullying her and Weeb speak again.
Yeah, I know, right? Holy shit. Like the problem I have with the audience that Riley has cultivated, which is probably really great for her career and does nothing but exacerbate her clearly real undiagnosed mental health disorders, right? Is that her audience literally doesn't think through any of the things she says or like really listen to the words in detail. And they seem to just like give her a lot of grace, I would say. This is beyond the pale, honestly. If I ever made a mistake as bad as this, I don't even know. First of all, I probably wouldn't be in this position, but like, Long-time viewer, first-time commenting. I've always loved your content because how thorough your research and your scripts were. Making the great deep dives to motivate me to clean or do busy work while I listen. I was disheartened at the lack of sources and how much hearsay there was in the last video, to say at least. But this apology has to be the best I've ever heard from a YouTuber. Okay. What? Oh. Imagine getting on a stream based on just rumors and jumping to insane conclusions without having information. Could never happen in commentary. This has to be the best apology I've heard from a YouTuber. I'm glad you could take accountability and apologize instead of doubling down. To be clear, there were multiple times in this apology where she offloaded the responsibility onto other people or her naivety while also saying that she's a veteran in the space. Can we not acknowledge that at all as a humongous red flag? What? Instead of doubling down and being loud and wrong, it shows that you're mature enough to understand when you're wrong. I'm sorry. This girl is going to get very famous. I'm going to say it now. She's going to get very famous. That's my prediction. I think Riley is actually going to be very successful. I think Riley is going to be very successful. And one day I'll be sitting here on stream, and when her version of the brick incident happens, I will be sitting here and I am going to say, I told you so. Which is not a direct comparison to I'm Alex, which is something you would fucking do, Riley, okay? Because what I'm saying is, when I make that comparison, is that despite many people outwardly saying that there is a problem with I'm Alex, okay, it took years for anything to be done. And what I'm saying is that the only way that you are going to eat some humble pie is when you make a mistake yourself between something in your life, and it becomes all of our turn to talk about you. And then when that happens, then we're going to all sit there and go, we've been saying this about Riley for years. We've been saying this about Riley for years. We said this before, right? So that's when it'll happen, right? I think Riley will be very successful. I do, because her audience is dumb. And I think she'll cultivate a lot more people who listen to her while they clean their room, okay? So she'll continue to keep doing that. This will not be the first time. I wouldn't even be surprised if Riley gets some gusto and has something to bitch about later, all right? But I believe it would be a reverse Turkey Tom BWC situation. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be a direct, she's going to domestically abuse a man, to be clear, Riley, if you so egregiously clip-chimp me. Nobody, as far as I know, is working with Alex these days. God. Riley, I don't want to praise you for apologizing or beat you while you're down, but I really think you need a break. Not these mini ones you've been taking, but a few months of therapy. I say this with care as someone who else has severe PTSD. I think you're acting hyper-vigilant and it's affecting how you cover things. Hey, I said that. I said in between me making fun of her and calling her Lilu Dallas Multipass, I said that. Let's see. It's affecting how you cover things, especially when you're newly diagnosed, because trauma tends to be really active at the time. Hypervigilance can make people to jump into unfair conclusions and can really hurt others. And when you have a big platform like this, it can affect people at a much bigger scale. You threatened her preemptively, and she didn't even get to prove whether she'd DMCA you. I get to some degree because you've dealt with that a lot lately, but that is the sort of thing forced her to come forward with some of her own trauma, and I do not envy her in the slightest. I think that would destroy me emotionally at a certain point in my life. If I had to expose my deepest wounds to thousands of people who could possibly understand. Okay, look, I know I've kind of belabored this point and beaten it with the dead horse already, but I think we all need to understand that there is at least something mildly unethical about commentary content, right? Because we all get to sit here and have this like Schadenfreude moment, right? because we get to sit here and go, oh my God, my life is so much better because I'm not as fucking crazy as Tyler Catastrophe or Riley, Ilania, or fucking this, that, or the other thing, right? So we get to all sit here and feel good about ourselves because we're not like that guy who's like a massive piece of shit, right? Like that's a component of this, right? We love seeing those people at their worst moments because a lot of the times it's funny, right? But it's funny at their expense, right? Like we could acknowledge that, like that's a thing that exists. You can't engage in watching somebody like Riley and not understand that that content is going to have a human cost on the other end. It just is. It always is. I don't like you either need to be okay with that or not watch that kind of content. I don't know why you think that you could have that otherwise. Let's see. You had a bad crisis recently, enough to need hospitalization. This does not make you dumb, incapable, or mean you need to retire. So I do think she should stop covering predators. Her personal trauma is dictating her actions as a creator, and it's having her swing wide. It is bad. You should stop. God. Girl, you definitely need a break. These past couple of instances, I fear you've been driving headfirst into these topics without enough research. You need to take your time and slow down, especially when you're accusing people of heinous things on the basis of unsubstantiated evidence.
At Rocky_BB celebrates 32 months of membership. Yay, slime.
Yeah, there's a reason that TMZ and Maury Povich were gangbusters. People have always liked rubbernecking trash fires. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we do, right? Like, we can all sit here and admit we like rubbernecking a trash fire, right? Like, that's why we're here. You know, like today we're talking about the Mormons. I mean, I know I'm on a bit of a tangent right now, but I like talking about the Mormons because they're a fucking disaster, right? But fucking, are we gonna say, like, is it not a little bit incredulous of me to sit here and say that maybe these Mormons are some fuck ass people? Just all Mormons. Social Repose should have been the last of her Predator content. Does really well. Does really well. That's why people go towards it. Does really well. God, I want to add that my trust in you is definitely decreased. If you're willing not only to believe someone anonymous, no name, no person providing you evidence, but confidently present it to your audience as if it was fact is deeply concerning. The lack of regard for us as consumers, your content, but the person whom you're exposing's livelihood, accident or not, could ruin someone's life. The thing is, if she needs to be told by her audience this, which seems to be the case, that's a really big fucking deal. That's fine. You're discriminating against them based on their shared beliefs. What if I told you Slyboy is currently covering this crash out? I am not surprised. I would like to imagine that Slyboy is grown enough to understand that, yeah, she didn't do her fucking work. Like, I don't... Oh, God. YouTube in general isn't for her. She needs breaks all the time. Dude, if you cover like Predator content or you cover the worst of the worst all the time, it's going to fucking give you a black pill. Okay? I say that as somebody who's done it. It's awful for your mental health. It's awful. Awful. Do not do it. Okay? There's a world of difference between saying, look at this shit and this guy's a predator. Yeah, absolutely. Are these comments about Riley? She seems like somebody who's going to jump scare somebody outside their house. Yeah. Like, it's very blackpilling to make, like, this person's a predator, this person's a predator, predator. It's why I don't want to get on a live stream and talk about, like, the new, like, is this guy a pedo of the week thing. I don't want to fucking sit here and do the whole rigmarole litigation over something like that or some fuck-ass cartoon or something like that. I listen, I have enough misery from the real world as is. All right, I don't need to go out of my way and start collecting the misery to hold in my mind on the clock. Okay, at least I could sit here and have a cute little funny joke about the militarized Mormons in the American Fork Police Department. Yeah, I don't want to to do a rape review, right? I don't want to do a rape review, you know, because at a certain point, you get tired, all right? I don't know how you do it. I don't know how anyone does it. Because at a certain point, you just go, if you're not a crazy person, you just go, maybe we should just, like, all die, you know? And there's a lot of great people in the world, so I don't want to live my life like that. Yeah, Mama Max went out of his way to make people commit crimes so he could maybe get them arrested. That's a different kind of crazy. I don't think this apology is going to stay up for over a month. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you made this apology, but I feel like the trust between you and us, the viewers, has been dealt a lot of damage. I really think taking an actual break and working on your mental health is the best course of action you can take right now. God. Yeah, and somebody was just like, just make another channel to do something else. Like, if you don't want to constantly be, like, beating yourself over the head about it, then maybe do something else. Like I don't know, man. It's like, obviously I like covering drama, but like, you know, high above table, to put it in D&D speak, you know, above table. I don't always want to be covering stuff that's super serious. I don't take it seriously. I don't take streaming seriously. I really don't. I get on here, I like yapping for a long time and saying random bullshit nonsense.
We'll calm down, James Cameron. Don't get too misanthropic.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't want to be too misanthropic, but, you know, if you cover that kind of content, it does make you misanthropic. Because I've definitely been there in my, like, head. And it's like, you don't want to be there. It sucks. God. Anyway, let's keep talking about the youth pastor. You know what? He's in the... To get back on the main topic. What if I told you taking breaks on YouTube is just cope, and these people use it to hide from criticism? Imagine taking a break for a year after threatening to brick people. You're right. You're right. So then what the only winning move is to not play, right? The only winning move is to not play. Because, like, when I'm game theorying it out, right? If I were to make like a really bad Riley level mistake, is the answer to just double down and keep trucking? Like, God. I don't know. Well, obviously people taking a break from the internet is a lie, right? Like, we know that. Like, everybody who says they're doing that is fucking full of baloney. Like, I would bet you dollars to donuts that at the very least, Falgi watched every stream on himself. We should be past the docs.
Believed Schneider was sending individuals to his home to harass him. While Officer Tonga was still on the phone with Mr. Johnson, Johnson reported that two females had exited a vehicle and were walking toward his property. He also reported that a male driver remained inside the vehicle. Officers Tonga and Richardson responded to the area. Officer Tonga contacted the driver, who identified himself as Benjamin Adams. Although Adams initially stated he was there for unrelated reasons.
I'm sorry. What is it with the people in Utah having, like, fake first names and last names? My name's Benjamin Adams. What are you, writing the Constitution? My name is Josh Johnson, Ben Benson. These are like names in regular show, brother. Yeah, just go to Kick, shout racial abuse for a week, and then come back to YouTube and stream to lowered expectations. That's actually a really good move. I'm kind of liking what you're putting up, dude. You're kind of putting up some, like, you know tech. You know tech. Oh, my God. Diesel, the volume. He's too soft-spoken. I'll put it up even more, dude. I put it up quite a bit. Crooked Cop ASMR.
He later
Dude, he's still quiet. Hold on.
admitted he had been filming Mr. Johnson while Johnson was walking around the exterior of his residence. Adams
I have nearly boosted this audio by more
told
than a
Officer
half.
Tonga that an individual named Benjamin Snyder had flown into Utah on March 7th, 2026, and had contacted Adams requesting assistance with filming, for which Adams would be compensated by Snyder. Adams reported that Snyder had left prior to officers' arrival and stated Snyder was driving a dark-colored Hyundai passenger car.
Their prophet is called Joseph Smith. What kind of names did you expect? All right, look, for what it's worth, Brigham Young, way more marketable. Okay. Joseph Smith, nobody's going to remember that. Brigham Young, real shit. Real shit. It's probably why he was the successful polygamist and Joseph Smith was the guy they fucking executed. You know what I also learned? I learned that there's a big contingent of British Mormons. How are you a British Mormon? That doesn't even fucking make sense. Bro, you got like the king and shit. And you're over here being like, I need to go to the Holy Land of Utah. Weird.
Officer Tonga issued Adams a trespass warning at Mr. Johnson's request and instructed him not to return to Mr. Johnson's residence. At approximately the same time, Officer Richardson arrived in the area and located a dark-colored Hyundai vehicle. Richardson initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle for failing to stop before the stop line at a stop sign and failing to stop completely.
Isn't Shadiversity Mormon? He is. He is. Yeah, Mormonism is an American religion by default. The concept of Mormons going to Africa to spread the Book of Mormon is like comically outrageous, right? Imagine you're like in the African bush with like living in like huts and you're fighting malaria while trying to tell these people who do not speak English, yeah, you need to come to America so you could hang out with our white savior, Joseph Smith. Are there actual African Mormons? So in the Book of Mormon, Elder Price goes to Africa. I think it's Uganda that he goes to. Okay, I'm referencing the Book of Mormon, guys. The play, not the religion. So Elder Price goes to Uganda, and when he gets to Uganda, he immediately has a crisis of faith because everybody is like busy trying to survive. Because like he gets there and you know the people they sing a song called like "Fuck God" or something.
Is it okay to go into this ASMR okay or not?
I don't. I mean, I don't think you.
Face
Maybe you should. I don't think the Mormons would like that. So maybe you shouldn't protest. You know. But he goes there, and Elder Price has a crisis of faith because all of the people in Uganda have AIDS, and there's like a war and generals and they're killing people and everybody has AIDS. They mention how everybody has AIDS in the song like fucking 4 times. It's like part of the chorus. This got racist real quick. Guys, this is in the Book of Mormon. I am not joking. Hold on. Hold on. Great, now Diesel's gonna get copyright struck. No, it's malaria, not AIDS. Okay, Africa song. Hold on. I had to go find it. I can't play this, but it is really funny. Just read the lyrics. True. Okay, just read the lyrics. It's only racist if you assume everyone in Uganda is the same race, which they are not. Here. Okay. I'm pulling up the lyrics now. Okay, I'm going to Genius as we speak. So I could defend myself. Everyone has AIDS is Team America. Sorry, I'm confusing my Trey Parker and Matt Stone stuff. Let's see. He's like, doesn't mean no worry for the rest of our days. Kind of. We've had no rain for several days. Oh, see? Here's a line about AIDS in the Haga de Imbowe song. 80% of us have AIDS. Many young girls here get circumcised. Their clits get cut right off. This is a real play you can see on Broadway. It's crazy. I've never seen the Book of Mormon, so I wasn't sure. Guys, I really want to see the Book of Mormon. Okay. Let's see. So, let's see. Hasadiga Ibowe. Okay, that's what it is. And then he learns what Hasadiga Ibowe means, and it means "fuck you, God." A Mormon wrote this? No, the South Park guys wrote this. Excuse me, sir, but you really should not be saying that. Things aren't always as bad as they seem. Yeah, so it's like, here's the butcher, he has AIDS. Here's the teacher, she has AIDS. You guys were chastising me, saying that I was wrongfully being racist, but I remember my plays, okay? Okay, I'm a real fucking theater kid. Fuck you. Don't lie, Diesel. You listen to this Bob driving to work every day. I don't, but I think I should. I think I should. Skippy the Virgin has a video where he went on a pretend date to watch the Book of Mormon. How did I said Skippy the Virgin, like Skippity Bob Bob Bob. God, it really gets you in a retail mood. Yeah, listening to the Book of Mormon. Are they even making slime anymore? What is this? This lady is making fucking cupcakes.
That stop sign. Richardson contacted the driver, who identified himself as Tyler Shaw. A rear passenger also identified himself as Benjamin Schneider.
I have doubled the volume on this and maximized it in OBS, so you all need to just deal.
When Officer Tonga arrived at the scene of the traffic stop, he spoke with Schneider, who stated he was in Utah filming a series regarding civil proceedings originating out of Oregon. Both individuals denied any involvement in delivering the package. At that point, Officer Tonga determined that Adams, Shaw, and Schneider did not appear to have committed any violations of Utah's criminal code. Officer Tonga advised Shaw and Schneider that they were trespassed from Mr. Johnson's property and could not return. Both individuals acknowledged the trespass.
It's not food. I've been so boggled.
On March 9th,
Dude, it is really funny that, like, in the same breath as, like, we have the Riley apology, we also have the police department addressing the allegations. This is an addressing the allegations video. This is addressing the allegations video. This guy should really be sitting in his office and he should go, we need to have a talk. Like, we need some of that.
26. Joshua Johnson again contacted our department to report that a male was at his front door, ringing the doorbell and knocking. Mr. Johnson reported the male claimed to be part of a YouTube initiative, and Mr. Johnson stated that the male was harassing him. Johnson also reported that the male had pounded on the door, opened the screen door.
Damn, they're not real cupcakes. Is it slime or cupcakes? That's the... Is this... what is it? The cake or real thing videos? You remember those? Such a good time before AI.
Opened the front door and had looked through some of the windows to the residence. Officer Hawkins with the American Fork Police Department responded and contacted the male.
Did you cover the dumb funky frog thing? The what? The what funky frog thing? This is I just had like a brain blast. Have you guys seen that there was a video that got California to ban Cars for Kids from airing in California? I also didn't know that Cars for Kids has like a fucking Jewish camp in New York. Okay? And they're all like attached as like a Zionist like network.
Identified himself as Christian Morgan. Morgan told Officer...
Bro, Christian Morgan, John Johnson, Ben Adamson, like, brother. We need to watch some Five-ish on stream. if we're talking about crossing the pale, yeah, covering Ura on stream is crossing the fucking pale. Dude, I'm gonna get a Reaper drone. I'm gonna get M7Q'd Reaper drone when I cover that. Funky Frogbait said Gooseworks drama was stupid and she had to apologize twice. That's crazy. That's crazy. Are you fucking serious? God.
Hawkins, he was attempting to help his friend Benjamin Snyder contact Mr. Johnson regarding a dispute involving a business known as Bricks and Minifigs, and some alleged money that was owed. Officer Hawkins asked Morgan how he became involved. Morgan stated that Snyder had posted on Instagram indicating he was coming to Utah and needed assistance from locals to get around town.
Okay.
Morgan offered to help and explained that at one point...
I prefer his brain damaged cousin Yap Dollar. It's really crazy how all of this originates from a bit in Cumtown. Like...
he was in the vehicle with Snyder. Snyder requested help contacting Mr. Johnson. Morgan told Officer Hawkins that Snyder was likely nearby in a church parking lot. Officer Hawkins determined
this guy talks like he's sending a message on Xbox Live late at night to try and tell someone that they're wrong.
Morgan had falsely represented himself to Mr. Johnson through his doorbell camera as belonging to a nearby church congregation.
Yes, Five-ish. Okay, Five-ish is the mascot for we're gonna need to do a stream on it, but Ura is like crazy work. Okay, if you've never seen the stuff from Ura, I'm gonna show you one thing. All right, let me show you one thing. This will be a little teaser for a future stream. Five-ish Israel. Five-ish dance 2 in Israel. Sorry, you're all gonna be deaf now. My bad. That's what you get. Bro, it is actually insanely loud. Hold on. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Are you guys ready for this? You guys, I did not think that was Slime for a second. I'm like, ah! Lower the fucking volume. No, I was actually thinking of keeping the volume that loud, guys. So there's Five-ish. He's actually training with the IDF right now. They're just in normal clothes right now, you know. The idea of a Hasidic Jew breakdancing next to the wall is so funny.
Wave your hands and
it's not anti-Semitic because it was made by Jews.
down, slide right, slide left, turn around. Roll your hands from high to low, and that's how the Five-ish goes. Now you try it.
Wave your hands and bring them down. Slide right, slide left, and turn around.
I wonder how this goes at the Hasidic Jew social, dude. Do you think they line dance? Do they line dance at those events?
Roll your hands from high to low, and that's how the Five-ish goes.
Five-ish, Five-ish, everyone. Dance the Five-ish, you'll have fun. Five-ish, Five-ish, your very own. Bring Five-ish to your home. Five-ish, Five-ish, everyone. Dance the Five-ish, you'll have fun. You can dance the Five-ish too. Come and I'll teach you.
And I'll teach you.
See, Five-ish even mentioned how... Five-ish even mentioned he's a Jew, dude. They talk about... Dude, he talks about doing, like, a Shabbos dance, okay? And, like, they have, like, animated Five-ish episodes where Five-ish is, like, trying to stop Iran from making a weapon that makes everybody depressed. And so Five-ish teams up with a bunch of Jews to stop it. Obama calls Five-ish.
With your hands and bring them down. Slide right, slide left, and turn around. Roll your hands from high to low. And
Dude, these guys are not dancing in sync at all. There ain't a single one of these motherfuckers who's got any kind of rhythm in the slightest. So Five-ish is like Captain Planet? I guess? Yeah, I guess so. I guess. What's his power? What's his power? Funneling money to Benjamin Netanyahu? I guess his power is probably a ballistic missile when you think about it, right?
Five-ish, everyone. Dance the five-ish, you'll have fun. Five-ish, you're very
Dude, I cannot... I would believe... Why specifically a $5 bill? Because one-ish sounds weird, I guess? I don't know why five-ish. I feel like there's some cultural context behind why five-ish is $5, but there's more $5 than just five-ish out there. There's like other five-ish characters in the five-ish cinematic universe. Okay.
Five-ish, everyone. Dance the five-ish, you'll have fun. You can dance the five-ish too. Come and I'll teach you.
Oh my God, five-ish was hanging out with Moses, guys. Did you see? Hitler couldn't make propaganda this scathing, Jesus. Oh my God. There's so much with five-ish. I need to save it for another stream, but let me just go to Ben's response because I'm clearly very easily distracted today. His name is a pun on the Yiddish name Faibush. Him being a $5 bill is because the $5 donations people give them for their giveaways or something like that. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let's hear from Ben and his response from the Utah police. Did you take your pills? Yeah, I wouldn't be able to stream if I didn't take my pills.
The American Fork Police
Damn, Ben. It's loud as fuck.
Department has responded to the video I made about them.
I am the Chief of Police for the American Fork Police Department. I'd like to address the members of our American Fork and Cedar Hills community regarding some videos currently circulating on social media.
So now I will offer a response to their response. There's a lot of new information in this response that I've been wanting to get for a long time, so we'll go over that first. One of the main questions.
Diesel, did you hear that Benjamin Netanyahu wants to wean Israel off American financial aid? Seems like bro's ego has gotten so large he doesn't realize why his country still exists. BB. Nobody tries to ring the Dinkster except the Dinkster himself, okay?
He has the power of Krav Maga.
He has the power of Krav Maga. You know, if Five-ish is from Israel, he's had to done like mandatory military service. So how many kills do you think Five-ish has? You know, that's the real question. Or do we think he did something really boring and like dumb, like fucking logistics? Let me make a new goal. Hold on, I gotta maximize this stimulating content right now. Okay, we're gonna boom. Oops. What is this? There we go. Wait, what the fuck? Hold on, I'm trying to give you guys double. You know what? Here. Yeah, I just replaced Ben with this, actually. There we go. Easy. Pro streamer. This is actually weirdly more stimulating than it was before. I'm not even lying. Hold on. We'll start adding it to this scene after. We hit the next goal. uh. There we go. Dude, that's crazy work right there.
Questions in my video was, why did I get swatted for stealing the Legos when this wasn't a mystery to the police officers and they knew that I didn't steal the Legos, that Josh stole the Legos.
He basically stole a $200,000 collection of Star Wars Legos.
But still, why did they raid my house for stealing the Legos when there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that Josh stole the Legos? When I requested the body cam footage of this to try to find the answers myself, they redacted everything, and they claimed it was to protect the victims. However, one of my friends set up a GoPro as we were getting swatted, and we caught the entire conversation on camera.
Included in the warrant
Ooh.
are Legos.
For 3 months, the police department's answer has been, this redaction is important because it protects Josh, the victim of this case. However, we can clearly see that the police are looking for Legos and they saw no Legos. And they redacted this because they were embarrassed that they made such a stupid decision to SWAT the wrong person.
That was super, super good. Like, excellent work. Unironically, amazing get. Like, the serendipity involved with that is so fucking keyno.
They were so embarrassed of swatting my house for stealing the Legos that in all of the police reports, it is...
Dude, I'm telling you guys, you don't hate Mormons enough. I'm begging you, chat, tonight, when you sit down in your bed and you try to fucking doom scroll some more, go on Netflix, put on American Primeval, and watch American Primeval, please.
completely redacted. The police department wants this information hidden so bad that they're willing to break the law to hide this from everyone. The only reason I know about it is because of the receipt I got the night I was released from jail and my friend's GoPro that was recording. So even though I've been asking them for 3 months why I got swatted, they finally came up with an answer, which is the Airbnb host told them that I stole the Legos.
During contact with the Airbnb owner, the owner reported overhearing conversations
American Primeval Discord night, that'd be a pretty decent one, actually, for sure.
about possible stolen Legos. Specifically, officers wrote
Yeah, I did see the lady who was ticketed and she had no right arm and they said it was in her right hand, yeah.
in the search warrant affidavit. The homeowner also disclosed that he could hear multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possibly stolen Lego toys they had taken. Based on that information, officers added a request within the search warrant affidavit seeking authorization to also search for and seize possible stolen property, including Lego merchandise. 4th District Judge Roger W. Griffin.
Yeah, him trying to get a song with Afro Man is crazy. I could see Afro Man doing it though. That would be good work. It would be a good follow-up for Afro Man.
Reviewed and approved the search warrant.
I always like giving people the benefit of the doubt, and I will take the police officer's word on this, but...
So the homeowner was creeping into Airbnb. You guys should probably look, real shit. Airbnb homeowners are like a billion times worse than a chain hotel. Okay, because Airbnb homeowners are so nervous about the people staying in their house, they like put secret cameras in places you shouldn't. Okay.
Pookie, you want to give us double stimulation? You really want to spoil us? Smiley face emoji.
But yeah, there's like a lot of, like, real talk. There's a lot of Airbnbs that have hidden cameras. Air fresheners, if you go into an Airbnb and there's an air freshener, check inside the air freshener for a camera. That's an easy one that they do. Check accent pieces that sit on tables in common spaces for hidden cameras. That's another one, like small statues or picture frames. Seriously though, check bathrooms. Like, those are the ones you want to check thoroughly, right? But probably why you shouldn't stay at an Airbnb. I never have a great experience at an Airbnb, by the way. I'm kind of an opinion that I'd much rather just be in a hotel these days, you know? Why do they want to record us so bad? Either some of those folks are voyeurs, or the alternative is that they are like anally pensive landlords who are like really worried about you doing something and want to make sure that they get their bread, basically. So they're just doing it for a very dumb reason. So they're breaking your privacy so that way they could charge you or, you know, throw the bill at you, basically.
Something fishy is going on here, and everything can just be cleared up if you unredact the audio and let everyone see the truth. Also, after we got raided...
What reason do they have to record in bathrooms, though? Okay, well, if you're recording as somebody as they strip naked, you get to see somebody naked, and they don't know it. So, there you go.
And the police officers found no Legos. All of this footage has been redacted too. And my guess is if the police unredact this footage...
Yeah, fun fact, most local Airbnbs are illegal and violate local ordinance laws. Airbnb was landlords on roids when they realized they could divide up their houses into rooms and avoid renters laws. You know what's funny, KJ? I was looking at like the docket for my town's meeting minutes, and the town legislation has been in a constant battle with a local Airbnb owner for the last like 6 months. And they like closed the case by going, fuck, he got around it. He decided to move out of his own dwelling unit. So technically, he's not breaking the rules now.
We will find out the answers once and for all. While we were getting swatted, one of the police officers decided to injure me for absolutely no reason. He claims it's because I was trying to make a fast movement.
Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that. Don't move quick. Everybody just chill.
But when we replay the footage, you can clearly see I was not making any fast movements. However, the police department has an answer to this.
During Snyder's detention, Lieutenant Adamson...
I need to start going to city council meetings. 100%, if you live in small town America, you need to become a very active and annoying person in your local government.
...hold of Snyder's right arm. Lieutenant Adamson later reported that he felt Snyder tense his arm, at which point Adamson moved Snyder's right arm behind his back to place him into custody.
The police department has made it clear I did not, in fact, make any quick movements like the police officer claims I did. So the police officer was lying. But not fully, because I did tense my arm. However, he lunges at me extremely fast before he even touches me. So how could he even know that I was tensing my arm before he even grabs me? That doesn't make any sense. There's only one solution. This police officer has psychic powers, and he could tell that my arm was tensing up before grabbing me. However, this makes no sense, because if the police officer did truly have psychic powers, he would have known that we were not the thieves, Josh and Brandon were the thieves. So this can't be the case either. I'm trying to have an open mind with these different possibilities of what this could be, but literally the only outcome left is that this police officer injured me for no reason. However, the police have another response to this of why I must be lying.
In the X-ray image displayed by Mr. Snyder in that video, a small L is visible in the upper right-hand corner of the X-ray. The L indicates the image is that of the left shoulder. The video shows Lieutenant Adamson handling Snyder's right arm during the arrest.
Yes, the stock footage I used to show what a dislocated shoulder is, an image that's clearly not mine because I didn't go to the hospital, I went to jail.
Wow, no fucking way, dude. He's actually beating the government in a drama. Can like all serious shit aside, like unironically is epically owning the boomer police.
So how could I have taken this picture? But anyways, the stock image I used is of a left shoulder when my shoulder that got injured was my right shoulder. When I was editing this, I like to think highly of my audience that they would have known that this was a stock image and I wouldn't have to spoon feed every tiny detail to my audience. But now I realize that there's another portion of my audience called the American Fork Police Department that maybe I do have to spoon feed every single piece of information to. So I'm going to use this as constructive criticism, and in every single episode going forward now that I know that the American Fork Police Department's watching, I will be
Imagine the drama getting to Trump and they're just shit posting at each other back and forth.
forced to spoon feed every single detail. As a professional slackliner, dislocating my shoulder is almost a monthly thing for me.
Oh.
The whole weight of my arm is just on this bone.
3
Oh my God. Damn, that was a long time ago.
days before I got arrested, I had a really bad ski accident where I had a really bad dislocation of my shoulder, and any movement at all would have dislocated it. So I will say here, I don't think that the police officer was purposely trying to injure me. I think to a normal person, this would have been fine. But for me in particular, this was not good, but it was still unjustified. And the police officer was just making up an excuse, and now they're making up an excuse to defend it. Another thing I find shocking is the chief of police, even after reviewing the dash cam footage, says that we ran a stop sign.
Richardson initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle for failing to stop before the stop line at a stop sign and failing
they might have stopped after the stop line. Yeah, you're supposed to stop before the fucking stop line, which is the law. So yeah, whatever.
Stop completely at that stop sign.
To be clear, regardless of that, it's not about the stop sign. They're trying to look for a reason to pull him over. Okay, it could have been the stop sign, it could have been speeding, it could have been a number of things. They were just looking for an excuse to pull him over so that way they could harass him. Yeah, it's a bullshit, but technically...
Police looked at this video and said, we ran a stop sign.
Yeah, because it looks like they stopped past the... Wait a second, there is no stop line.
And now he's using...
So I guess you're supposed to stop before the stop sign if there's no stop line.
Using that to say, this was a legal traffic stop. The police officers did nothing wrong. At this point, we thought the best thing to do was to take Josh to court so he can be legally accountable for the crimes he committed. However, to do that, we are first required to serve him court papers. So we did what the law told us to do.
Did play? I did play. What are you talking about? I'm confused.
I got a process server, and we went to his house to do this the legal way. However, Josh did not want to do this the legal way, and instead called the police on us.
Joshua Johnson contacted police and reported he was going to
Josh, I'm sorry, but guys, I'm going to make a decree. I know I keep bitching about these Mormon names, but we're not allowed to name our children with the same first letter as our last name, okay? We can't have Joshua Johnson. We can't have James Jameson. Okay, we can't be having that. We can't be having that. We can't have James Johnson. All right? He needs to be like Gregory Johnson or something, okay?
shoot someone as a result of the ongoing harassment. Multiple officers immediately responded to the area.
Josh was so scared of going to court that he would rather shoot us than accept these court papers. Josh's logic here is that if he can murder the process server and if he can murder me, then he can get away with his crimes because there'll be no one to sue him in court. However, sadly for Josh, murder is illegal.
Dude, these wealthy Mormons probably feel very safe in their little, clan.
And now he just admitted his plans to the police officers. The American Fork Police should at least be arresting Josh for trying to use murder as a way to get out of court. But sadly, for some reason...
What if your middle names don't count? Middle names don't count.
They arrested me instead.
Am I being arrested? You're under arrest right now. Really?
Something about this seems off, and all of the answers are in the body cam footage. However, they redacted all the body cam footage. So this is where I think if we all come together as a community, we can somehow convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this footage so we can find out why they arrested me and not the guy who threatened to murder me. However,
also having like Wolverine mutton chops and running a Lego store is very actually kind of typical when I think about it. But like, would it behoove you to have a little bit more sauce?
the American Fork Police does not want to unredact the footage right now, and now have made up a new excuse of why I was the one justified being arrested.
Officer Sumbot contacted the Marion County Circuit Court in Oregon to verify the legitimacy of the paperwork. The court confirmed that the case was indeed legitimate, but that papers had already been served and no hearing date had yet been scheduled.
The police department said the reason they arrested me and not Josh this day is because they called to confirm if this was a real court case, and they said it was real. However, the papers have already been served, and now I'm doing this solely to get YouTube content. And if that's true, I would like to see footage of it. They released all the raw footage, and that part doesn't seem to be in the raw footage.
It's already been to court, or are you allowed to tell me kind of where they're at with the case?
There is no hearing date set, and there hasn't been a hearing in the case yet. All I see is the claim that was filed. I don't see proof of service or anything. A hearing wouldn't be set until a response is filed by defendant.
Okay, so the defendant needs to be served with papers before the case will, I guess, start?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your help. I think that's all for today. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, bye.
Right here, the police officer admits that it is March 10th.
On March 10th, 2026.
However, you can see here that Josh doesn't get served until 3 days later, March 13th. So how could Josh have already been served on March 10th if he didn't get served until March 13th? Unless Josh is a time traveler. There's only one way to clear this all up. American Fork Police Department, show me the time machine. So now they say that I have done all the check marks which constitute stalking. Let's go through them.
Individual commits stalking if the individual intentionally or knowingly engages in a course of conduct.
Wait a second. So this guy is at a podium that has like a green screened in version of their logo. What? Why is it behind that? Oh, we steal from old people. I was very confused. Okay, he got me.
Directed at a specific individual.
So yes, I did do an action that was targeted at a specific individual, but that's what's required by the court if I want to take someone to court. If someone steals your stuff and you go through the legal process to take them to court, it is not considered stalking. I have a right as an American to sue him.
Is reckless as to whether that course of conduct would cause a reasonable person to fear for the individual's own safety or the safety of another.
The second check mark is that if a reasonable person would be scared. The police are claiming that since this action made Josh scared, this check mark is complete. However, they have completely forgotten about the term reasonable. As we can see, Josh is not a reasonable person. This is someone who multiple times has tried to silence someone by accusing them of being on heroin.
Here's the crazy thing. They told me that they took over that location because the owners were using the location to fund their heroin.
Ben is diabolical in all this. I feel objectively this guy is just wealthy enough to ignore the law, and Ben is pointing it out. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. It's like a wealth thing mixed with like a protect your own type thing.
Addiction.
What?
Yeah, and that's how they took it over, and saying they had like a pigeon in there that was crapping all over the Legos, and it smelled bad, all this stuff.
This is someone who threatened to murder me just for trying to serve him papers. This is not a reasonable person. It is not reasonable to threaten to murder someone just for serving papers. A reasonable person would accept the papers, so that second checkbox does not meet the requirements. I even tried explaining this to one of the police officers early on.
What the law says is if the average person would feel unsafe by our behaviors. So I think he's...
Dude, police hate it when you actually know your rights, brother. Police hate it when you know your rights. You need to be a well-read individual, chat. You need to be well-read, all right? So that way you could, well, actually somebody when the time comes, all right? Because I guarantee you they don't, all right?
Feeling unreasonable.
You gotta be the nerd emoji sometimes in life, okay? You gotta be a little bit of a nerd emoji.
Unsafe, a reasonable person would not feel unsafe in the situation. Well, I can say the same thing. I feel unsafe trying to conduct business with him, and he calls the police on me to hide. I feel unsafe because of that. Because we had a 3-hour search in our car. He said we had heroin in our car yesterday. We had a 3-hour search in our car. That makes me feel unsafe. I think that's reasonable for me to feel unsafe. It's not reasonable for him to feel unsafe.
So Josh is actually the one who said he was going to murder me.
Oh, and then, yeah, regardless of how in the right you are, the second you're detained by police and they put you in interrogation, first of all, don't say anything, okay? Execute your right to be silent. But then if they're, like, putting you in a room, okay, be like, I want an attorney. And then say nothing else, okay? Don't do anything else. Don't give them nothing.
If I take him to court. But now, I'm the one that's being looked into for threatening to murder Josh. How does this make any sense?
Mr. Johnson alleged that Mansell had hired
Don't even be funny. Just recite your right to an attorney.
Snyder to harass, stalk, vandalize the store, threaten to murder the manager of the store.
I have a right to remain silent. I lack the ability.
Let's go to the heroin claim. We got pulled over by the police, and they claimed that we had heroin on us.
This officer is going to conduct the search of your person because there are substances in the vehicle.
Most of this footage is redacted, so again, there's a big mystery of what happened. Can we all come together and convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this so we can find out the truth? However, what the police is claiming now is that they did not get a call saying that we had heroin on us. Instead, they could just tell from the second we pulled over that our eyes were glossy.
During the interaction, Officer Fraughton indicated he believed Shaw's eyes appeared glossy and expressed concern.
Okay, so at what point can Ben just sue the police department for defamation? I know there's like whatever qualified immunity or whatever police officers get, but like, to be clear, this entire post from the police department almost wrongfully places Ben as some like evil actor, right? So aren't you supposed to get due process before you do those things? Because without them actually doing a real investigation, it doesn't really seem like they're doing that. It does kind of seem like they're committing slander
regarding possible impairment.
Nothing like the land of the lawsuit here in the great old good US of A.
If we look back on the raw footage, this is what the police officer said his first interaction with us was like.
Good with these guys being able to drive?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't see anything clear as day with Tyler that I noticed.
What's the goal?
Right now? Yeah, I was gonna scare him a little bit and let him go. Is all I really was gonna do.
We have
police officers be like, I didn't really see anything. I think I'm just gonna scare him a little bit. Okay, first, what the fuck is with police officers being made up of nothing but the worst of us? All right. Police officers should really represent the best of us, right? They should be like well read in the law. They should be like empathetic. They should be able to respond quickly and accurately in situations that are life and death, right? Like they should be able to do all these things. But all the time, cops are some fucking fat middle-aged white guy who's got like some weird ass like fucking like weird play pretend want to be the Punisher.
Charges, or are we just tired of them being annoying?
It seems hard to take what the chief of police is saying seriously because so far almost everything he said is a lie. So the only way we can actually find out the truth is if we unredact everything. We already know the victim's name is Josh.
So it's my understanding he has to file an IA, Internal Affairs wrongful detainment, win that, and then he can sue them for statements once they are no longer under qualified immunity. Yeah, well, that's a really tough sell considering the Internal Affairs Department at the police department is also probably made up of fucking Mormons.
Joshua Johnson. Why do we have to keep that protected? His name is already.
Yeah, I don't think cops are the most intelligent people. Yeah, obviously, but I'm trying to say like, you know, these are people that are in some of these people as much as like here's another one hot take. You know, like the armed forces go overseas and do a job, right? Shouldn't they represent? They do literally represent Americans abroad. You know, they literally do. You know, it would behoove them to be upstanding. The same way it would behoove a police officer to be upstanding because the police officers represent the community. You know, they represent their local community. So if you have a police force that performs badly and is made of outrageously out of shape boomers, what does that say about your community?
None of these redactions are
And that's the rub, Diesel. Who polices the police, lol. Who watches the Watchmen?
protecting anything except for the police. And now,
Yeah, Chris Titus said it best. The world is made up of C and D students. It's very rare for them to be A and B students. And I don't even think I'm the most genius person out there, but like, I'm like one of those annoying people who like really reads up on the people that I'm like voting for before I go to vote, you know? I'm asking for some bare minimum requirements. Yeah, I mean, like, I've had good interactions with police officers. I know well-trained ones, but I've also had plenty of, like, weird interactions where they're, like, weirdly antisocial.
I want to acknowledge my friend Sheldon's arrest.
The group stated they were supporting a GoFundMe campaign for a dying man. One of the individuals later identified as Sheldon Norcross. Officer Richardson then decided to seize Norcross's phone, pending the approval of a search warrant, in order to preserve potential evidence and prevent the deletion or alteration of any data. According to Officer Richardson's report, when Norcross was informed that the phone was going to be seized, Norcross immediately began manipulating the device.
The police officer claims that Sheldon was arrested because he opened his phone to start deleting evidence. However, we can clearly see in the footage Sheldon's thumb is heading towards that lock button to lock his phone. His phone was open when he pulled it out, and the phone was transitioning from on to off, not from off to on. From this response, it almost seems like the police officers didn't even watch the video. So American Fork Police Department, if I'm your teacher, here's your homework. First off, learn the facts of what actually happened. Second off, stop lying about the facts. No one's believing it. The third thing is unredact the audio that makes the police look bad. Some of the best lawyers in the United States are reaching out to me right now, so eventually this...
Oh my god. Dude, Reckless Ben is gonna end up with an absolute, like, ass kick of a lawyer, and this entire police department is gonna have quite the fucking annoying case to deal with, okay? I was listening to, I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube channel Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities, but I was listening to the one about, Joe Small and Thurgood Marshall, the first black justice on the Supreme Court, and how relentlessly irritating Thurgood Marshall was to try and protect black Americans. So, like, this still has to be attorneys out there like that are like that much of like an irritating pedant, right? Legal Eagle is apparently involved on some level. Dude, it is so over for them.
Is going to get released. Wouldn't you just like to get this over with sooner rather than dragging this out? The more we drag this out, the more content we get, so this only benefits me to drag this out. It doesn't benefit you. If you unredact...
How the fuck are you supposed to be enforcing the laws when you don't even know what the laws are? Alright, I'm gonna put you on some woke philosophy here. Alright? The reason that cops can do that and not know the laws is because they have a monopoly on violence. Alright? That's why. Alright? Because they can shoot you, alright? Even if it's unjust and wrongful for them to shoot you. But you can't shoot them even if it's just.
The illegally redacted parts now, you'll win over audience support much faster. It's kind of funny because a lot of you guys probably think I'm like trying to like make fun of this other cop by how he was talking.
Brother, you mind turning up the volume? Holy.
God damn it. Oh my god.
It's actual ASMR.
It really is. He does sound like a whispering youth pastor, you know, serenading me into a dark closet where he can molest me.
Wow.
What are the rates of molestation in the Mormon church? Do we got any statistics for that? I would like to pull up annoyingly performative statistics so that way I could say bad things about Mormons?
I cannot really hear him. Why is he whispering?
No, I'm actually just like super sick right now. I haven't been sleeping because I'm trying to get out part 3 as fast as I can. And that's caused me just to like stay up all night, every night, and not sleep. And now I'm sick and have no voice. But
Do I want
yeah,
that
I
in my
guess-
search history? I mean, does anybody?
I don't know why that police officer was talking with such a low, quiet voice, but that's why I am, at least. I wasn't making fun of him. I literally am just genuinely sick.
He does sound sick.
If you want to see part 3, subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/recklessben. Part 3 will be up there very soon. Part 2, I'm only dealing with misdemeanors, but part 3 is when they start accusing me of felonies. So it gets insane. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to crank out videos in the meantime until part 3 is done. But thanks for all the support.
Dude, this makes me wonder how many people the Mormons have had killed. Like, we talk about how Scientology has sent, like, assassins and sent, like, black vans to stalk people. But unironically, like, there might be bodies hidden in the barren wasteland of Utah, and we just don't know about it. Like, there are people who crossed the pale into the grand Mormon conspiracy and were killed for it. I don't doubt that was the case. God. I've pulled up a website and oh my god, it's actually dire. Well, yeah. The Mormon chart, let's see. How widespread are the claims? Let's see. How widespread are Mormon sexual abuse lawsuits? Hundreds of survivors have filed lawsuits against LDS Church, revealing decades of alleged abuse, cover-ups, and institutional failure. Cover-ups and institutional failure. Uh-oh. Everybody always wants to give all that shit to the Catholic Church. Not again, like I said, I'm not Catholic anymore. I haven't been for many years. All right, but it's crazy that like the only people who ever are discussed about as having like a systemic child abuse issue being the Catholic Church is crazy, because there are more Protestants. Hold on. You know what? I think the Protestants find this pretty awesome that all the sex abuse scandal is thrown straight towards the Catholics, because I feel like evangelical Protestants probably have a lot of that too, and nobody like directs their hate at evangelical Protestants because all their churches look ugly and look like they belong in a strip mall. All right, because there's no sauce. They don't talk about the sex abuse there. Let's see. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Today I learned the FBI and CIA recruit heavily from the Mormon population because they're usually cheaper to do security clearances on. They often speak another language from their mission trips, and they usually have a low-risk lifestyle. Interesting. What sparked the rumors of the Mormon Mafia? So, the Mormon Mafia is, like, maybe not the Mormon Mafia as, like, there's no Tony Soprano of the Mormons, but there is, like, an institutional protection racket for the Mormons, right? Like a Mormon Mafia is probably flanderizing it a little bit. Oh, man. What is this? Is this a Mormon website? Is this a Mormon website? What is this? The Beehive gives me Mormon vibes. Let's see. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of, oh my God, of Latter-day Saints have long been rumored to be special targets for recruitment in the government intelligence and security agencies. In 1971, a Ramparts magazine article claimed that the Latter-day Saints provided both CIA and FBI with some of their best men. A 1981 Associated Press news story reported the CIA does some of its most successful recruiting in predominantly LDS Utah. A 2015 Atlas Obscura article headlined "Why Mormons Make Great FBI Recruits" and notes that agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the CIA see Mormons as particularly desirable and have a reputation for hiring disproportionate number of people who belong to the church. Basically, they make great recruits and will desk cases on Mormons. That is not good. I think, okay, I'm going to say something, I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist. There's no way to not. The amount of Mormon proliferation and culture is like the Mormons playing a long game on winning the country. We have Dirty Soda now. We have the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives or something, or like the Mormon TV show, okay, about the Mormon women. Mormons are ingrained in politics. Well, the world is ran by pedophiles. We also have soaking now. I don't think one of the greatest cultural exports of Mormon society is soaking, but you know. God. I mean, we've been new. The white supremacists were actively infiltrating the military, so yeah, man. I mean, maybe this is starting to give me I'm getting a black pill for society, dude. We got like all of these weird crusaders sneaking through the cracks. That is just cock warming. I can't imagine soaking is a good experience. It's just like, at that rate, why don't you just put your balls in a cup of warm water or something? Cock warming, but a little homoerotic. Also, don't forget Sister Wives. Yeah, there's another one. Dude, I think the Dirty Soda thing is probably the one that is probably most prolific. Honestly. The fact that Dirty Soda has popped up everywhere makes me do a big think, you know? I think it would be worse than mediocre sex. I don't know. I feel like if you have mediocre sex, mediocre sex is like, if you're just soaking, that's just kind of like, I don't know, let's try something out, right? But then, like, mediocre sex is like you showed up to a pickup basketball game and you're like really expecting to have a good time, but you just get like dunked on the entire game. And then you leave and you feel miserable and you're like sweaty for some reason and you're not satisfied with that at all. And you're pretty sure the other team is like also not satisfied. And then both of you just don't talk about how mediocre it was. I don't know, man. I think I'd just rather soak. You need a lot of trust on a man to help out with soaking. Yeah, like I'm gonna have my homie in the room and bounce on the bed for us. So technically, I'm not thrusting. It's somebody else, you know. It sounds hot. Mediocre sex is the opposite. Is this an anecdote? Maybe it is an anecdote. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but it is an anecdote, I guess. Oh shit. Well, not all a man's conquest can be phenomenal, all right? To be clear, it takes two to tango, so it's not like it wasn't all my fault. God. Does soaking count as a threesome? No, soaking is like, hold on, let's see if I can get a clip about this. Mormons. With soaking, it takes one to tango. I mean, this is too specific. There's a lot of Mormons online now, too, talking about the soaking experience. Because there's two blonde Mormon women 4 years ago talking about soaking. So imagine the monkeys jumping on the bed. Mother Goose rhyme. Yeah, so imagine you have two monkeys on the bed, and those two monkeys are fucking, but not doing it. And then there's two other monkeys, and they're jumping at each end of the bed to make it an active experience. You know? Dude, there's a lot of blonde women on here. Oh, there's a guy who's a Mormon. Is soaking just internet hype? I'm curious. Why is it called soaking? Because you're technically not fucking, you're just soaking your penis in her vagina.
Just internet hype. So soaking is based on this.
Oh, I've seen this guy. I don't know. Is this guy a Mormon anymore? He's had like some. I think he got like ostracized from the faith or something.
Idea that much in the same way, if you don't move, a T-Rex can't see you.
He's one of those British Mormons. He's one of those British Mormons.
Can't see you. So it's the idea that you can have sex with someone.
Yeah. So soaking was a meme until it wasn't a meme.
There can be penetration, but if you don't move, then it's not sex. It doesn't count. Now, the idea that God's looking at this and going, "You got me. I can't believe I didn't think of that," seems ridiculous to me, and it makes me wonder whether anyone actually believes this is like a legitimate loophole. I don't know anyone personally that's done it. I know other people who say they know people, and then it gets a bit third-hand. So it could just be internet hype. It's funny either way, and just a bit ridiculous.
It's cock warming with extra steps. You ever hear about the Mormon author Chad Daybell? That's a fake name. These guys are fake. The fake name Andy's guys. All of them are fake names. Oh my god. I miss when anal was the loophole. Yeah, that's another one I've heard. Oh god. These are real Mormons talking about life after Mormonism. I don't know. I don't know about that. Definitely seems like Mormons to me. Why does Chad Daybell sound familiar? Should I be looking that up? Do I look it up? I'll look it up. I'm easily swayed. I'm easily convinced. He murdered his wife and stepkids. Well, I didn't want to. Well, that's just sad. That's sad. That happened in my hometown. The Vallow Daybell Doomsday Murders is a series of killings, including child murder, filiacide, and spousal murder. Okay. They were part of the LDS Church. Oh, there's a lot of Mormons. Yeah, Chad is an apocalyptic author and publisher, claimed to have visions of the future and prophesized the world would end in July of 2020. Lori, dubbed Doomsday Mom in later media coverage, adopted his fringe beliefs. She became convinced that she was a deity destined to play a role in the coming apocalypse and that their family was obstructing their mission. So Mormons, there's a lot of Mormons that do actually doomsday prep. Doomsday prepping is pretty common amongst Mormons, too. The vampires turned white in Twilight, and the author fought heavily against having black vampires in the Twilight books. It's a Mormon as fuck. Oh my god.
Have you heard the critically acclaimed author Shad Brooks and his novel Chronicles of Everfall, Shadow of the Conqueror?
Yes, who is also a Mormon. We do know about infamous Mormon Shad M. Brooks. But yeah, there's a lot of prepper Mormons, so this is crazy reading about this. Because everything you people are saying is like, it gets worse. God damn. Would you like me to set up a docket on Mormons and MLMs?
Fun fact, one of Lori Daybell's relatives was a DJ radio responsible for the Wii Radio contest death.
What? What? Oh, God. Yeah, Brandon Sanderson is a Mormon, too. Yeah, but he feels like one of those guys who's like a very non-practicing Mormon, you know, in the same way that some people are non-practicing in a religion. I don't know. He's said too many woke things, you know what I mean? God. Yeah, I know about the we for we thing. I was there. Well, I wasn't literally there, but I was alive for that news. I remember hearing about it on the radio. uh, there's also a vampire in the good side that's a Confederate soldier. Makes you think. Makes you think. I do like the idea of vampires not always being like on the right side of history, but I don't think Stephanie Meyer has like the wherewithal to like really acknowledge those things. It's like, how does a vampire kind of reconcile with being a Confederate soldier? That's kind of an interesting thing, but like it's not about that, you know, like in the same breath where it's like in Vampire the Masquerade lore, some of the vampires sided with the Nazis. Why did they side with the Nazis? I think that's a really interesting concept. You know, it's like, how do you tackle that? And like, how does your vampire reconcile with such a thing? Because that's a pretty crazy thing. Like, I don't know. Yeah, the we for the we thing. Yeah, that killed a person for fucking we. Nazi vampire movie could go hard. So, there's a tabletop game called Eat the Reich. It's really like you play it in 4 sessions at a con type game. But the whole shtick with it is that you play vampires that are airdropped in coffins into occupied France to kill Hitler. And you basically go through it killing a bunch of supernatural Nazis until you kill Hitler. But the game is very woke. And as a result of that, it kind of ruins its own fantasy, right? Helsing had Nazi vampires, yeah. And they were comically evil. Yeah, so the Eat the Right game is pretty fun. I would say just ignore them if you're playing a personal game with friends, and do yourself a favor. And if you're the DM, play Hitler, but make him like a real killable person. You know, make him like really, just really ham it up, all right? You're making Inglourious Bastards, but they're fucking vampires, all right? Let people really soak in the murder. Yeah, I always think of we are Nazis. Hold on, I'll play the clip. And we are evil. Is this it? I think this is it. Here it is. Here it is. This is from Helsing Abridged. This Helsing Abridged clip has transcended. I thought this was the actual dub.
Class wars, no drug wars, no race wars, no flame wars, and certainly no cold wars. Blue bought for 40 years. But I want is a war that only we can bring. A true war. A German war. The sequel you've all been waiting for. I want World War III!
Where does he do the thing where he's like, we are Nazis? Fuck, it's gotta be near the beginning of this.
Discovered so.
Am I crazy? That definitely happened. Let's see. It might be, is it this one? Here we go. I think this is it.
Gentlemen, we have made it!
No, this isn't it either. I'm not Mandela affecting this fucking thing. I fucking remember this happening.
All right.
It cuts after the okay.
Achtung, Achtung. Hans, bring it.
It's at the very end of episode 3. Okay. Was the salute changed for a reason? It's number 3, man. We're changing it up. They're changing it up for number 3. If it's at the very end of episode 3. Oh, it is. It is at the end of episode 3. It is. It is.
Hold on, I need to.
Sir Integra, is something the matter?
It's the fucking.
Okay.
I am so sorry, Major, for the failure of the dandy man.
Dude, this is like how I do a German accent. It's so bad, dude.
Give it a rest, Herr Doctor. He was a Brazilian dog who died.
Dude, the internet was such a better place, man. We used to have culture. Oh my god. Fuck. I think I need to rewatch this at some point. Fuck. God, this is really good. If you've never seen the Helsing Ultimate dub, you should. It's really or abridged. It's that good. It's that good. It could take. You could just watch the abridged version, and it's that good. Have you watched the original? Yeah, I've watched the original too. The dub is just that funny though. Like the fucking abridged from Team 4 Star is really good. Have you seen Code Ment? No, but I know of it. I know of it. Oh shit. I'm gonna fucking go because I can't fucking find this clip and it's late and I got stuff to do before I go to bed. So let me go do that and go eat. I have a bunch of shit I gotta finish. So let me go do it. Oh, Dono?
I love my life. I have discovered so many forms of war. You get up in the morning, you get into your shitty car, and you see a rich CEO who works half as hard as you do drive down the street in his Porsche. Class war.
That was so based. I hope somebody not awful said that.